Chastity, the social media influencer and rockstar killer. Maria, from Miami. And Lucy, aspiring actress. Sydney, hip-hop lover and writer, so I'm told. And my quiet one, Mackenzie. Well, hello ladies. I'm Bella. I have a question for everyone. Why do you think rich men cheat? Control.
I'm going home.
Don't go.
Attention.
You bring the total package to the table. You just need the right friends.
Are you my friend?
No, but you can be mine.
And power.
I stuck my neck out for you.
Thank you!
And I pulled the strings to get you onto this show.
Take all three away, and he becomes desperate.
So, what's with the apples?
Well, it represents knowledge, wisdom, beauty, and power. Here, you will learn how to gain ownership of all.
I'm gonna send you the money for the ticket, and I already have your room set up at the Palms.
You do that, babe.
Because once you have possession of the apple, no man alive will have power over you.
You make it sound so easy.
Oh, it's not easy.
Brett, look, I'm sorry.
Save it! Save it!
I get no auditions.
I'm gonna stop you right there.
I get no callbacks.
I really need to get upstairs. They stole all my money.
I don't know who the fuck you think you are, but you're no better than the rest of us.
Right now they have a do not disturb until this afternoon. If they call you, great.
How is he gonna call me if he doesn't?
If not, charge it to the game.
Make no mistake, ladies. In order to succeed in this game, you must be willing to play it out till the very end.
This business is all types of savage.
What are you doing?
But if you follow my blueprint, I guarantee you will become a millionaire within the next 3 years. Possibly way earlier. So, are you ready to take that step?
Another day, another dollar. Ain't about money, don't you holla. 100 miles and racing, and that money conversation been my only motivation, yeah.
What's up? Wes Clark here, one half of the Clark Brothers and co-creator of the new series Groupie, now available on Tubi. I'm here right now with 4 easy steps for you to enjoy this series and support your boy at the same time. Step 1. Download the Tubi app. You can find it in the Play Store, the App Store, or even on Roku, Fire Stick, or any other smart TV. Step 2. Go to the search bar, type in the word Groupie. It should be the first movie that shows up. Step 3. Enjoy the show. And step 4. Make sure you like, add to your favorites, and share with your friends.
You make it sound so easy.
Because it is that easy, Sydney. So go out and support your boy. Check out Groupie, the blueprint of a self-made millionaire.
Are you ready to take that step?
I'm Yoshi Lomax, superstar attorney at law and fugitive.
So, you're the famous Yoshi Lomax. Probably more infamous.
I'm on the run from the federal government for crimes that I didn't commit.
Gentlemen, I'm Deputy U.S. Marshal Sharon Starr. I'll be taking things from here.
Not to mention being on the hit list of at least 3 of Miami's major crime bosses.
I wanted to apologize in person for leaving so abruptly last night.
Welcome back.
That's Vladimir Kuznetsov, a Russian crime boss. He's been a suspect in over a dozen missing person cases.
I mean, I didn't get here to be this successful for doing things the American way.
I need a list of the jury for my case with Hanshu.
Oh, really? What's that worth to you? Oh my God, you're such a...
Mr. Santana is to be released upon processing.
So what do you know about Sheldon Chisholm?
What do you want to know about him?
I really need to know if you're going to take my case. I don't have time to play, Miss Lomax.
Money is not a problem.
You know anything about his case?
It's being handled by agents in my field office.
I've learned that in this game of life, in order to win,
Ready to dance?
you gotta play dirty. You might look at me and see a beautiful, confident, successful woman.
Congratulations, counselor. Yet another win.
But underneath, I'm flawed. I'm broken. And I'm scared. So I have no choice but to run until I can find a way to clear my name.
Miss Lomax is now considered a fugitive of the United States. Catching fugitives is my business, which makes her my suspect. You and your associates are relieved.
Look. She killed one of our own.
But I will not give up.
All right, people, listen up. Get a picture of Miss Lomax out there so the public knows what she looks like.
I will not give in.
Okay. People, we got a game plan. Let's break and execute.
I will not get caught.
Time to go hunt.
Where have you been? I've been calling you on your cell phone all day.
At work.
Faith wake up dope sick, fiending for a sniff. Left the house, ain't tell her husband she was gone, she just dipped.
Why is it that you are taking large sums of money out of our account every single day?
While her family's at home, she's out there chasing that high. Roaming up and down the block, she run into this pimp guy. He's conversating with her, asked her if she tryna make cash. Next thing you know, she's in front of the pink house selling the ass. Then she gets dope sick again. She need that boy, so she out there searching again. She's tired of her life. For years she done wrong. Now she wanna do right. She go to rehab to get the help she need, and she tell her family.
Hey everyone, it's your girl Catherine Nunez, and you're watching Real Talk with the director and the counsel on the IE network.
Real Talk.
Hey, I'm Gina Lou, and you're listening to Real Talk with the director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hey, what's up? It's Logan Browning, and you're listening to Real Talk with the director on Dollhouse Radio.
Real Talk.
Hi, this is Alana De La Garza, and you're listening to Real Talk with the director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hi, I'm Diane Franklin from Better Off Dead and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. You're listening to Real Talk with the director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hi, this is Monique Dupree, and you are watching Real Talk with the director on Blog Talk Radio.
Hey, I'm Stormy Maya, and you are listening to Real Talk with the director on Dollhouse Radio.
It's Vicky Judy. Orange is the new black, and I'm here with Real Talk.
Yo, what up? This is Jay Ellis, and you're watching Real Talk with the director on Dollhouse Radio. Keep it locked.
Hi, I'm Rita Parks, and you're listening to Real Talk Radio with the director. Hey, I'm Issa Rae, and you're watching Real Talk with the director on Dollhouse Radio.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Nothing more, nothing less. Welcome back to another edition of Real Talk with the director, the Jedi Council. I'm the director. We'll be with you for the next 120 minutes or so, and Real Talk is brought to you each and every Monday by V2S Media. Media. I need to get my my effects back. And we broadcast live from the World Wide Web, via the World Wide Web on youtube.com/IE Network TV. and Twitter, and of course the social network itself, Facebook, aka Meta. Another week. It's the 13th of what's this? March, 13th of March. And we're back, man. Full disclaimer right out the gate. I'm still recovering from COVID. So I'm a little bit, nasally, things like that. If I sound a little weirder than I normally sound, then I just want to, apologize ahead of time. Recovering from COVID yet another time. This is my second time. But I'm still here with y'all. I'm still here for y'all. And I hope that you're still here for me. Thank you for coming back, everyone who came back. And thank you in advance for the people that'll be listening later. That's what's up. Shout out to the chat room, of course. Joseph Tanner always holding it down. Everyone else who comes through, I'll check you as you come through. We will so we're gonna do some Oscars recap. Oh, yes, I'm sorry to hear you. Yeah, hear that. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, Joseph. Yeah, this thing is still here. It's still, but we dealing through it. We gonna get through it here. We thugging it out. So if I get a mute here or go off camera there, I'm probably coughing up a lung, just letting you know. Anyhow, we are gonna do, the Oscars, Academy Awards. Was it the 95th, I think, Academy Award? So we're last night, yesterday, or at the Sony Theater or whatever it's called, in California. And yeah, so we're gonna do a full recap of that. That's gonna be bulk of the show. Gonna talk about stuff like that. I also want to talk about, we'll talk a little bit about how Jimmy Kimmel, his job, how did he do? Did he do well? You thought he did okay? You thought he was garbage? I should have put that up for the poll. What did you think of Jimmy Kimmel? But let us know what you think in the chat room. Did he do a good job? Did he do a terrible job? Did he do an okay job? We'll talk about that. Also, that he had to, him being a comedian himself, he had to address the proverbial, what's it called, the elephant in the room that's always in the room, several elephants in the room. One being, of course, being that we are now we was exactly 1 year away from the infamous slap. Or the slap. And as we know, Chris Rock just had a special. And if you don't know, Chris Rock has a special that just dropped last week called Selective Outrage. And he does address the slap finally after a year almost to the date, and very cleverly does so in his Selective Outrage special. It was actually a live special that was on Netflix, done live, and then now you can go watch a tape. He even messed up a couple of times because it was a live show. So and he addressed it, and he went in. He addressed it, went in pretty hard. So Jimmy Kimmel, of course, I believe any host can't not address what happened last year at the Oscars. You got to at least. I'm glad that he led with it, because get it out the way. Let's get the elephant in the room out of the way. Now, they did lean on it a little bit throughout the show, but I'm glad he addressed it. He addressed that and several other things that I want to talk about once I get Jedi Council on, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Also, we'll touch on, since we wasn't on last week, we will touch on Selective Outrage a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about that and just put that all together. Also, Marlon Wayans dropped a special, and I'm saying this because they're all kind of relative, right? Marlon Wayans drops a special on HBO Max. It's entitled uh, "God Loves Me," right? And I think that's the name of I think that's the name of it. And uh, very interesting. I want to say I really enjoyed what he did because he told a story, several stories, based on something that we've all been talking about the whole year, which is the slap. And because this show, this whole stand up special was basically rooted in the slap. So I thought that was interesting that another comedian who, by definition and technically, had nothing to do with the slap, with the incident that happened at the Oscars, but Marlon Wayans explained and made us believe that he actually had more to do with it than anyone thinks he did. At least that's what he believes. So go check that out. Don't go now, 'cause, got the show going. But after you're done here, go check out God Loves Me stand up with Marlon Wayans is now on HBO Max. He has did a deal for several specials on HBO Max, and the one he did last year or the year before, I didn't really like that one. I was disappointed, but this one really good. He really did a good job. So go check that out. But that all comes back to my poll question is okay, we've had the incident, we've had Will Smith's reaction, we've had Will Smith's apology, we've had everyone else's reaction, all the comedians, Eddie Murphy, everybody that's chimed in on it. And then finally, at the end of the year, we have Chris Rock addresses it. And then out of left field, Marlon Wayans, who, once again, you have to watch the special. I'm not going to spoil it for you. He actually believes and was very convincing that he was more connected. I'll say this, he's more connected to the incident than any other comedian or any other person. And people didn't know that until you watch the special. And then we have the show where Jimmy Kimmel is addressing it throughout the show. He actually ends the show with resetting a little thing that says at the bottom 0 days without a incident at the Oscars. He brings the counter to 1 day at the end of the show. 1 day without incident at the Oscars. My question on the poll is, we've got all of that out the way now. It's been a year. Everyone, all parties involved, including Marlon Wayans, have spoke on the slap. Are we finally done with the slap? Meaning, can we now? Is it now ready? Some people have already moved on, but people said that to me throughout the year, and I kept it real. My opinion was, no, we cannot. Not saying that we can't, but the situation will never move on until Chris Rock addresses it. And he has now finally. So he said his piece. It was very, I was very entertained by the special. I thought what he said was clever, was brilliant in his own way, in his own Chris Rock way. And you're looking at a master of his craft, okay? And most, if not all, real comedians will testify to that. There's a lot of people that I've run into a lot of people that for whatever reason don't like Chris Rock. Like, Chris Rock isn't funny. I never thought he was funny. Well, that's your right to not think he's funny. But he's a master of his craft. So he addressed this the way he knows how to address it. He handled it the way he knows how to handle things. And that was his right. And I thought he did a bang up job. But my question again is, are we finally done with the slap? Can we now? Everyone has spoke their piece. And Will do not come back and say nothing else. Let Chris said what he had to say. He obviously didn't accept your apology or whatever the case may be. Maybe he will now. He has his stance. You have your stance. You made your bed. Everybody needs to sleep in their own bed. And now we can move forward, I believe. So we'll get everyone else. That's the poll in the chat room. As you come through the door, smash the like button. Make sure you share this with your friends. Subscribe if you haven't. Take the poll. And of course, comment. Leave comments in the comment section. Or if you're here live with us in the chat room, we'll read your comments. We'll interact with you. The weekend recap is brought to you by BoxOfficeMojo.com. And this will be for the weekend of March 10th through the 12th. Hopefully everybody, we've lost our hour of sleep. Everyone's sprung forward. And, we'll continue. Now it's going to start getting darker a little later. So that's cool. Spring is here. Spring is right there. Okay, number 5. Cocaine Bear. Cocaine Bear made $6.2 million this weekend. And that's bringing its domestic total of $51 million, worldwide total of $65 million. The Cocaine Bear. Now, number 4 is Ant-Man Quantumania. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, made another $7.1 million, bringing its worldwide total to $448 million and some change. Number 3, what is that? 65. There we go. That's with Adam Driver. $12.3 million. I think this was the opening weekend. It just opened on the 10th. So it opened to 12 million, basically. Not 12 million. Yeah, 12 million domestically, worldwide 20 million. Okay. Number 2, Creed 3 made $27.3 million over the weekend, bringing the worldwide total to $179 million. Then we have number 1 this week with its opening, Scream 6. I was about to say 4. Scream 6. All right, it just opened on March 10th. It opened to a $44 million domestic release, a $22 million international, bringing the total to $67 million for the weekend. All right, Jenna Ortega. This is a Nev Campbell-less Scream. And, some are projecting it to still do well. And I'm sure it will. Jenna Ortega is real hot right now. People are loving her. They love what she's doing, her work. And yeah, let's see what happens. Let's check it out. And that is your weekend recap for the weekend of March 10th through the 12th. All right. Shout out. Happy belated birthday to my little bitty little boogie daughter. Sonara, she just turned 3 earlier this month. You know what I mean? And shout out, happy belated birthday to my oldest Not oldest sister, my only. She was my only sister, and rest in peace to my only sister, Gina Clark Mays. She her birthday in heaven was on the 8th. Yeah, and yeah, everybody shout out to all the people, all the Pisces. Pisces is in the buildings. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to y'all and everyone who has a birthday in the month of March. Um, yeah, also one of my best friends from childhood. Uh, birthday was March 7th. My boy H G, my boy H Watson, and of course, March 9th is what we call the National Thug Holiday, and that is the anniversary of the tragic killing and shooting of the notorious B.I.G., aka Biggie Smalls, aka Frank White, aka the King of New York. So all of that happened in March, and yeah, man. So let's get started. Let's bring in. We got Ralph from the Jedi Council, of course, joining us. Welcome back, brother.
What's going? Oops, wait a minute. What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing tonight?
What up, man? What up? What up? What up? Yeah, man. Like I said, I may drop out, maybe mute here, mute there. I'm be coughing probably because trying to kick this COVID again. Yeah, I mean, it's
Gotcha,
crazy.
gotcha,
It's crazy.
gotcha.
Went down to Florida and picked it up. Brought it back to Atlanta with me. So,
See,
anywho,
that's what you
man.
get.
So, going to Florida, messing with them Floridians.
That's what you get. That's what you get. But
Messing with Florida.
that poll that you had about the slap, man, I'll tell you, no, no, and I want to throw this out there only because I think it was an interesting topic. Last week I was on Twitter and I saw something about the slap, and it was from Michael Jackson's nephew, and he said, "Why should I feel sorry for Chris Rock, who got slapped for making a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith?" But he has been making his uncle, Michael Jackson, the butt of his jokes for years.
Right.
Years.
Right.
So it
Yes,
had
he
me
has.
thinking. I said, so should we feel sorry for Chris Rock? Or did he basically just get what was eventually going to happen? Unfortunately, what could happen to him that somebody, you just said my name one too many times, and now I got to slap you or hit you. Stop putting my name in your mouth.
I mean, I don't think I personally, I've never felt sorry for him, and I don't believe many people well, some people do. I never had that feeling, like feel sorry for him because number one, I don't know, I just didn't feel sorry for him. I felt more sorry for the people that were robbed of their moment of the Oscars, like Questlove, and stuff like that. That's what I felt more. If you want to say I felt sorry for anyone, it was people like that. I didn't feel sorry for Will Smith, and I don't feel sorry for Chris Rock. I mean, it happened, and hell, I don't feel sorry for the Oscars. But I'm just saying it happened. I just think that my question is more so. I feel that now because I've been questioned all year long about, wow, when are we gonna move on? And I said, well, you could truly never move on until Chris Rock addresses it. Now that he's addressed it, he's made his stance. There's really no point to continue going on. Like Will Smith, Jada, do not answer this guy. Like it should end here because he spoke his piece. You've already spoken your piece. Both of them has spoke on this topic.
True.
Long time ago. Will Smith has apologized and did whatever it is he had to do, and he's doing his thing, trying to get back, his life back on track. But no one heard from Chris Rock. No one heard what Chris Rock was going through, and no one heard, how he felt. So therefore, and as we bring in Kev, so therefore, being that no one had heard what Chris Rock had to say, in my opinion, when I was asked about it, I said, no, we can't move on truly until we hear what Chris Rock had to say. Now we've heard it. He's made his stance. And I guarantee you, I believe, I can almost guarantee you, based on how I know how Chris Rock is as a comedian, he's not mentioning it no more. He's not gonna mention it no more. He's addressed it. I don't think he's going to he's got another Netflix special coming. His deal was for 2 specials. It was like somewhere in the $40 million range for 2 specials. And I guarantee you his next special, he's not going to address it. He's addressed it in this one.
But it still goes to what I'm saying about the thing with him with Michael Jackson. And
no. Now what you're saying about Michael Jackson, no, I agree. No one from the Jackson family should feel sorry. I don't think anyone should feel sorry for Chris Rock. But I'm just saying, no, they definitely, especially them, they shouldn't feel sorry for him because yes, Chris Rock has been
built a career.
He throughout his career, he has made Michael Jackson butt of his jokes, and that is true. But like I said, that's fine. I'm in agreements with that. Like I said, I never thought anybody should feel sorry for him. I just think that back to the poll question is it's fine. I feel now it's finally time because it was addressed on every level. Every person involved addressed it, and every person who wasn't involved addressed it. The Oscars addressed it, which I knew they were going to do, which I have no problem with that. I thought Jimmy Kimmel was correct to address the elephants in the room. He addressed them. The show is over now, and I doubt he even mentioned it again.
Listen, they did everything that's being done is to make white America feel good. Let's just keep it a buck.
Well, I mean, I don't know how much I agree with that. But,
no. And what I mean by white America, I mean the Oscars, the Oscar members. I
I think any host would have had to address it. Anybody.
No. Any host would have had to address it.
Any good host, in my opinion. Yeah.
But it had to be addressed. So that way, white America can feel comfortable again, because as what's his face put it, they took once Will Smith became the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, he became America's boy. He became the guy that couldn't do no wrong. He became the guy that was beloved to all of us. So when he did what he did, which I still say, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes on both sides, but mostly on Chris Rock's side, because even in his special, and he won't stop. He's never gonna stop. And unfortunately,
I don't believe that.
No. Wait. Let me finish what I'm saying. The reason why I say he's never going to stop, and what I mean by never going to stop, he's never going, because see, there's a difference between being a comedian and being a bully and a comedian. See, Chris Rock was picked on all his life. So it's easy for him now as an adult to go in and be like, oh, it's just comedy. When really it's not. If you listen to his stand-up and pay attention to how he delivers his jokes, it's because he's been bullied. And he's been bullied enough to the point to where now I'm a big boy now. I'm a father. I'm
gonna make him pay. I'm gonna make him pay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, I mean, he still tells jokes.
No.
And he's more of a comedian than a bully. If you want to say he has bully tendencies because he's been bullied, but he's more of a comedian than a bully.
No,
and he definitely has those bully tendencies.
But he hides his bulliness behind his comedy. And unfortunately,
but I don't really think he hides it. He just says it. He does
so
it.
he does it, but see, people who don't know don't realize what he's doing, and that's why he got smacked.
Yeah, well, he got smacked.
And here's the flip side of that one. Why is not going to die? So long as he can still make money off of it, because people, for when we talk about this, at least for the next another 3-something years, at least, he's like, oh shit, I can keep making money by telling jokes all about how Will Smith smacked me. But believe me,
I don't believe that. I just don't believe it.
Well, I'll put it like this. I'll put it like this. At the very least, what's going to happen is at the 10th year mark, or at the point when the Academy is like, you know what, let him back in.
Yeah.
And Will Smith shows back up. Oh, the jokes are going to come.
Yeah.
The jokes are going to come, and then the bulliness from him is going to come.
Yeah. Watch that Chris Rock gonna make some kind of movie, and no matter what the movie is, no matter what the subject of the movie, especially if he's directing the movie, watch him somewhere near his character is gonna get slapped, or he's gonna slap somebody. Watch.
Well, here's the deal. Something like that is not the same, because you're still laughing at yourself if you do something like that as a skit. You were involved in it. So what I'm talking about is just continuing to talk about it. I don't think he is anymore. First of all, he's too good of a comedian to have to lean on that. We all know that he waited this long for a reason. It was smart of him to do that. He got the bag for it. He's already got the money for it. And he's just too good of a comedian to do that. I just don't see it. Chris Rock has never. Yes, he is. Yes, Chris Rock is one of the best comedians out there, bro. He's one of the best.
Right, I agree with that. But then that falls to what Tay J said. Why are you still making jokes about my uncle, particularly because his uncle isn't even alive anymore?
Right.
You still
that's
making
a whole
jokes
nother.
about
That's a whole nother topic. I'm just saying, that's a whole nother topic, right? I get what you're saying, but it's still another topic as far as him doing jokes about, because I mean, he's not the only person who still does jokes about Michael Jackson. He's not the only comedian that still does jokes about Michael Jackson.
No, wait a minute. You're right. Well, at least I'm a give you that you're right. He's not the only comedian. However, Chris Rock has built his entire career, a big chunk of his career, on making jokes about Michael Jackson. Right? I
wouldn't say he built his career on making jokes about Michael Jackson.
A big chunk of his career on making jokes about
mentioned he's had jokes about Michael Jackson throughout his career, but to say that he's built his career off Michael Jackson jokes, that's crazy.
I said he has built a part of his career on making jokes about Michael Jackson. It's in his comedy specials. It's on his HBO specials. It was on his HBO talk show. It's on his comedy records. It's in movies.
Well, you know, well, one thing is this: Chris Rock is the type of comedian that does a lot of his jokes based on current events. So during the time, stuff when Michael Jackson was in the news, he's definitely going. If you're someone that's in the news or current events or scandal or anything like that, rest assured you will be in a Chris Rock set somewhere, because that's just part of his style, right? That's part of his style. But it's not like he just came out of nowhere and just started, just leaning on Michael Jackson, and that is the bulk of his set. It's not.
Agreed.
That's not how it goes.
Now, with that being said, I have not seen special. Did Chris Rock make any jokes about Bill Cosby?
No, Bill Cosby as of right now is, I guess, not really relevant. Right. Not that Michael Jackson is, but his joke with Michael Jackson in this special was connected to someone who is relevant. R. Kelly.
Right. R. Kelly, and which he was sorry, bro. What R. Kelly is in jail for, and what Michael Jackson has been found innocent of are not the same things.
No, they're not the same thing. But my point is, and I didn't agree with that joke either. That's not the same thing. But the point is, it's part of the joke. That's all I'm saying.
But out of all the people that now, when the allegations that come, you got a whole plethora of people that you could have used to back that joke of comparing to R. Kelly. Why you got to go with Michael Jackson?
I don't know. Like I said, my point is, it was just
it's
part of the joke.
Simple. No, it's simple because he's not here to the music. Now, Michael Jackson what would have been real funny if he was alive? If Michael Jackson went there and chicken winged his ass on the Oscar stage and moonwalked back. We be talking about that forever.
I mean, the point is this: we're now, a year away, and I think the point of that joke was, whatever the hell he said. I'm trying to think of the way he said it, and I ain't defending the joke because I didn't dig it either. But basically saying his whole point about selective outrage. That's what you're saying. How people was. Now, he could have used someone else, even with R. Kelly. He could have used another person with R. Kelly, because you could use R. Kelly alone and say that people have selective outrage, because some people.
And here's the irony of what he was saying. The irony of his whole special, selective outrage, is his selective outrage. He selected this time when he should have said something months ago.
Yeah, but I don't think it's our place to say when he should have said something. That's on him. That's his story to tell. So if he decided that he did the smart way, him not saying something got him a $40 million bag. Him not saying something right when it happened landed him a $40 million bag.
Yeah,
I have no questions.
I think he would have got it anyway. I think
that's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily true, because if he would have addressed it and it's when it first happened, where's your special? That don't happen overnight. You gotta negotiate your Netflix special and stuff like that. That don't happen overnight.
But here's the thing. He already test ran those jokes months ago.
Okay.
So at the LA Comedy Store. So what?
Yeah. They all do that.
But the only reason why they're new to us because we wasn't sitting in the audience. So for us, it's like
they all do that. That's what comedians do. They test run their jokes. I mean, that doesn't mean anything.
But that's my point.
But that's in an intimate setting. It's in a setting that's not a mass setting. So,
but the point is that he's already addressed this. He didn't wait to debut these jokes until he did that comedy special. He already addressed them before then. Before this comedy special, before the comedy special was even taped,
but not on the level that others have addressed it, such as Will Smith, such as Jada Pinkett. They all addressed it on a big platform, whether it's the internet, the internet, which is a huge platform, obviously, that's a worldwide platform, which both on the internet.
Hold on, one more thing. You're right. Will Smith and Jada Pinkett have addressed it on their Red Table Talk thing, which is something that they created, right? Mm-hmm. Chris Rock is not a dumb man, and he's very able to create things. You don't really think that he could have did the exact same thing?
He would have did it, but he wouldn't have got $40 million for it. So now remember, you do know that Jada Pinkett gets paid to do Red Table Talk. So let's not forget. Her bringing it to Red Table Talk, she still got money from that.
And once again, I mean, I'm quite sure Chris.
If everyone else can use their own platform to get paid, why shouldn't he?
I'm quite sure Chris still got his development deal at, if it's not HBO or Warner Brothers, right? I'm quite sure that, I mean, who knows what else Chris Rock had, but Chris Rock had many outlets that he could have did and still got his $40 million and maybe more if he did it earlier. It's the same way as if you take a picture. I'm a photographer. I know that if you take a picture, right? The picture, if I was to walk down Sunset Boulevard right now and I saw Kim Kardashian walking naked, all right, and there's 10 other photographers out there and they take the picture, you only got that one day to put it out there. You can't hold that picture for a week later and say, oh, now put that, because we've already seen it. So now it's like, oh, it's old. It doesn't carry any weight.
Terrible analogy, Ralph. Terrible analogy. I get what you're saying, but to this particular topic, the bottom line is people remember when he first,
in good form.
Right. Remember when he had did some sort of he did like a concert or a show or something like that a week or so, not even a few days after, because he had already had that pre-booked, right? After the Oscars. Everybody was running to his shows because they was
Yeah.
hoping and thinking he was going to address it, which he didn't. So
No, he did address it, but he didn't address it at the ones that they were at. But he did address
it
that
on his
shows.
own terms, So that's what I'm saying. So like regardless, he still would.
So he doesn't have the right to address it on his own terms.
No. See, here's the thing. Nobody's not saying that the crybaby shouldn't have addressed it on his own platform. And he did a spectacular job at what he did. But the bottom line is, he's a crybaby, and he deserved to get. And he's a bully, and he's a bully to a certain degree, and he deserved to get smacked, and he got the shit smacked out of him.
The bottom line is, I mean, I don't know about him being a crybaby. If he ain't no more of a crybaby than Will Smith, So, and Will Smith was literally crying. So
no. We're not going to do that. This is what we're not going to do. Hold up. This is what we're not going to do, because he wasn't crying because he wasn't crying. He wasn't crying because.
He cried because he won an Oscar.
Because he smacked him. He was crying, because he won an Oscar.
No. I'm not talking about the Oscar. I'm talking about the apologies and stuff like that. He's crying. Will Smith have been on TV, national TV, crying multiple times.
Yeah, but he was crying because he was ashamed of what he did. Because he's like, damn, I embarrassed my mom.
Baby.
I embarrassed my family. It's not the same thing. Crying out of apology, crying because you feel bad is one thing. Being a bully and crying on stage, whining. Granted, his set was.
I don't agree that he was whining on stage. I think he was finally addressing it. And he said he explained from his perspective. He was explaining from his perspective when he broke down what from his perspective how this whole thing started. Jada Pinkett, what she said, he said she started this. It wasn't me, it was her.
It wasn't her, it was him.
That's his perspective. That's what I'm telling you. He said from his perspective, it ain't me who started this. It was her. She gonna call me. She called me asking. She called me asking me, telling me that suggesting that I should quit my job because her husband didn't get nominated for the Oscars. So that's what he said. He said, "Who the hell is she to expect me to do that for anybody?"
Wait, hold on. Wait. That don't even make, why is she calling Chris Rock because her husband didn't get nominated?
He was host. I mean, we don't know. Ask Jada Pinkett. You know what I'm saying? So the point is that was the same year, because remember he addressed that.
Here's the point. How is this somebody's starting something by asking you to join a movement? All you have to do was say, you know what? I don't agree with your movement. I'm not going to join it, and leave it at that. But no, you're not just going to leave it at that.
No, that's not what he does.
Because you're a bully, and you hide some of your jokes behind. You hide your bulliness behind some of your jokes. So you're going to be like,
that year when Jada did that, or whatever it was she was doing, he addressed that kind of in his monologue for the Oscars. He said everybody's outraged, everybody this. That's when he went into that. He was hosting the Oscars, obviously, that year. So, the whole joke thing, whatever. My thing is this. I look at it like this, and I agree that probably because of him being bullied, he does have those bully tendencies. But once again, crybaby, I wouldn't go that far. The crybaby is Will Smith, because
really
he slapped him because of a joke.
No, again, we're not doing
that. He slapped him. No, I'm not talking about that. He slapped him because of a joke that he made. Period.
As anybody would have. No, you
not
talking
anybody
crazy.
would have.
You crazy. I would have did it.
Not anybody would.
Did it. I would have did it.
But here's the deal. I'm not sold on it because he was laughing at it at first. So if he would have been, that's where the selective outrage comes. If he would have immediately, if he would have immediately went up there,
if you turn and see you're laughing because you're agreeing with the room, but then you turn and see that your wife is hurt, and then it clicks like, oh shit, why am I laughing?
That's whack.
It's not whack. It's not whack. It's not
completely
whack. You
whack.
see,
Because you're not acting.
So if I make jokes about your wife,
I'm gonna address it immediately with you. Period. If I didn't like it, if I didn't like that, I'm gonna address it with you immediately. I'm not gonna defer to my wife.
That's really the question. You just said that if you didn't like the joke, you wouldn't address it like it. But what if you did turn to your wife and your wife is visibly made her upset? She is visibly upset. She is either embarrassed, she's crying, whatever. Do you not get up there and handle it right then and there, or do you have to wait until later on?
I definitely wouldn't have handled it right then and there. I would not have done that.
No.
In that setting,
the setting of the Oscars, right?
Or in any setting, if we're just at an event together. It doesn't have to be the Oscars. It's at a formal event together. I'd have pulled that person aside and addressed it immediately. Yes, I would have done that.
I'd
pull that person aside.
I can agree.
And addressed it immediately.
I think
yes.
that would be better.
Or my first option. Let's just say we're at the event and that person's hosting it, and he makes a joke about my wife or whatever. But same scenario, different setting. Not as big of a stage, but it's just a formal event. It could be a job event, and the person's talking. He makes a joke about my wife. She's upset visually, even if I didn't think the joke was that bad. She's upset. Yes, at the first moment, appropriate moment, I'll pull that person aside and address it immediately. But here's
the thing. And I agree with what you're saying, Wes. What you're saying is absolutely the correct way to do it. The exact way that it should have been done. It should have been handled in the green room.
He should have been right. He should have been right backstage. Wait, he should have been not even in the bathroom, right backstage, right, waiting for him. Yeah, waiting for him to come off stage. Because I'd have been like, laughing, haha. He thought I'd have got up, seat filler would have took my seat. My ass would have went backstage, and then if you want to slap him, then I'm slap. Yo, what's up with that? Boom, address it right then and there. No harm, no foul. We probably wouldn't even have heard about it. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what I'm saying.
Now here's where you're absolutely right. Everything you're saying is absolutely right. But here's the factor that we're leaving out. We're leaving out the mindset that he's in. Now, granted,
that's not no one's fault. Wait. That is not Chris Rock's fault because his mind is fucked.
No, I'm not blaming. No. Again, don't twist what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not putting this blame on Chris Rock for Will Smith smacking him. Will Smith smacked him out of reaction to what he's seen his wife being upset, and then him just sitting there being, being a box, a small box filled up with a whole bunch of stuff between the stuff that
which is what Chris addressed. He said everybody in the industry was calling you a bitch. Everybody in the industry was calling you a B. Everybody, and you smacked me, the one person that you know you can beat.
That's a good point.
But here's the thing. It didn't have nothing to do about the person he could beat. Because to be honest with you, I don't think anybody it don't matter who it could have been. Marlon Wayans could have made that joke, and him and Will would have been fighting on stage.
They would have fight. Yeah, that would have been a fight because Marlon would have fought.
Because Marlon would have fought back.
And
So
he'd have
it
got
wasn't-
jumped
it
by
wasn't-
every Wayne's would have been coming out of every corner.
It would have been something like, yo, this is Scary Movie 7 about to happen right now.
That's
The
that's
beatdown
what
of Will Smith.
and I mentioned at the top of the show Marlon Wayne's special. He mentioned that in his special. He was like, yo, he's like, bottom line is, he's like, what? He's like, brothers, my brothers, cousins, everybody been coming from everywhere. He said he'd been going, he said, my sisters, everything. He said, I got 3 fat sisters. And
I'm only scared of Kim. Kim look like she could thump.
And so,
Kim
and I
look like she
remember
could
Marlon
thump.
Wayne said that in an interview. He said, I feel sorry for Tony Rock. He said, because he said, I'm a brother, so I know how that is. If someone would have slapped my brother on stage like that, it'd have been a problem. I'd have wanted to jump in. He's like, I know how Tony Rock is. He said, and I know how Chris Rock's brothers are. And I know, he had one of them that he mentioned. He's like, that dude gets busy. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, he would have been ready to get busy on stage. But no, like I said, yeah, up to the point of all of that build up. Okay, yeah. So who would have? It could have been anybody. It could have been. I don't believe that all the time. Though. Everybody else says that. That's just like what people say. Oh, that's just like if a female was getting hit on all day by 100 guys. You're guy number 101, and then she flips on you. Yeah, but guess what? Maybe if you looked a certain way that she liked or was attracted to, she may not have flipped on you. So I don't believe that it's just you're just in the way. It's just by chance. People think a little bit before they do stuff because
no, they don't.
Everyone,
no,
yes,
they don't.
They do. They
no,
do.
They don't.
Everyone, they say they don't.
I'm living testimony. Listen, I'm living
West,
testimony to some of the crap that going at my job. Look, listen. This kid the other day tried to be funny, threw the damn football at me, hit me with the football. What was his first reaction? Run out the store. That was his first reaction, to run out the store. But we caught his ass. Right? We caught his ass. So no, everybody does not think, and I'm quite sure that's
what you do though, Ralph. You don't want to incriminate yourself. What did you do there?
Oh, well. Didn't do much. I basically just like scared. I basically just scared them, right? Because they were like, "Well, we're a minor." I was like, "Dumbasses, don't you guys know that even though you threw the football at me, that could be considered assault?" And in New Jersey, you can be tried as a minor. You can be, even though you're a minor, you can be tried as an adult. They was like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." But the thing like that one, because no, if that joke would have came from Keenan Ivory ones, right? Dwayne Johnson. Hell, Ice-T, and he made that kind of joke.
I'm sorry. You can say that all you want. I will never believe if Dwayne Johnson made that joke, Will Smith would have went up there and slapped him. I will never believe that.
Right. He wouldn't have went up there in that stage. He wouldn't have went up there in that stage. He would have sat there and sucked it up, and maybe, like you said,
maybe he would have said what he said from his seat.
No, he wouldn't have said that. He would have been on Twitter. He would have been on Twitter saying, "Yo, Dwayne, that wasn't funny." That's what he would have did.
No, he wouldn't have did that. You know why? Because The Rock is too classy. Even if it was on the on the teleprompter.
But we're putting him in the scenario.
But you can't. You can't put him in that scenario. No, you can't.
I'm saying people have done it. People say, "Oh, it would have been." I mean, you didn't say The Rock, but you said anybody up there he would have did it to. So that's still putting people in the scenario, and I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
That's not what I said. What I said was, if it was anybody else up there, he wouldn't have went up on that stage. He would have sat there, like you said. He would have sat there in that chair. Right, and on commercial break or something, he would have went up there.
I'm not saying that he wouldn't address the person, but he wouldn't have went on that stage and slapped them.
But he would not have.
But here's the thing. If it was anybody else, it wouldn't have happened. And here's
that's
why.
Not true. If it was Dave Chappelle, if Dave Chappelle was there, Dave Chappelle don't give no fucks. And if that's part of his joke, he would have said it.
But here's the thing. It wouldn't have been. My point is, it wouldn't have been a part of anybody else's jokes.
Okay.
to single her out. It wouldn't. It just
true.
wouldn't have been in their repertoire to do that. So we can't. That's why I said, even if it was even if that joke was on the teleprompter, you know what the average person would have did? Would have looked at that, would have been like, I'm not saying that, and they would have went off script and would have said something else. They wouldn't have said that.
I mean, if you want to say that, that's fine.
Chris Rock said what he said because that was a part. That's a part of his. That's a part of his. And again, his set was dope. The whole thing was dope. But the point I'm going back to with the slap is, it's a part of it. If you go back and look at all of his jokes and the way he goes, yes, he's very political. Yes, he does things that are in the now, but also he can be. He uses his thing to where he'll bully people that are in a certain down position. Now, granted, in this case,
I'm gonna have to need. I mean, and I'm not saying you have to provide something right now, but to be honest with you, I've seen quite a bit of Chris Rock specials, and I'm not sure how accurate that is as far as him bullying specific people in his sets. When you listen to his specials and stuff like that, specifically leaning on people, the most time you see Chris Rock doing that is in a setting like an award show or something like that, because part of his style of comedy is, and a lot of people do that in award shows, is working the crowd. Go to people in the crowd. I mean, Martin Lawrence did it every show of Def Comedy Jam. He literally sat there and snapped on you. You know what I'm saying? No matter who you was. So that's just part of his style when he does formal things like award shows he's hosting, stuff like that. But when he does his regular stand-up comedy, I don't particularly remember him leaning on too many individual persons or one or another throughout his show. That to me would be more of bullying. But I don't consider, like I said, man, I was just watching some Def Comedy Jam earlier today. People are just too damn sensitive today, man. I don't consider you getting snapped on in the crowd bullying. I'm sorry, man. I just don't consider. Just have a freaking sense of humor.
No, you're 100%. Listen, you're 100% correct. But
and he didn't mention anything about alopecia. He's just said G.I. Jane. You connect G.I. Jane with what G.I. Jane looked like. She has the head shaved. That's what he said, right? He didn't say anything about her alopecia.
But he did mention something about alopecia.
He did not. He did not. He did not.
Afterwards, he said, I didn't know. I think he said, I didn't know.
Yeah, he said he didn't know about the alopecia, but he didn't mention that in his set, like he was picking on her because her hair was. How does he now? Let's just say whether he knew or not is irrelevant. Let's trust him and say that he didn't know, right? So you see the person with the head shaved like that. How do you know she didn't just shave her head like that? Because that's the way she's wearing it. Amber Rose wears her hair like that. There's other people that wear their hair like that. So my point is,
exactly. But he wouldn't. But if it was a white woman, he wouldn't have said shit. So
if Amber Rose was sitting there, I'm sure he could have made that same joke to her.
Yeah, he wouldn't have said nothing. He wouldn't.
Well, you can't say that. That's just your opinion. I mean, the bottom line is it was a generic joke.
But the only reason I'm gonna get out of the benefit of doubt that when he said he didn't know, because let's just sit there and say that. I mean, I don't know. I know about alopecia, but let's say alopecia was equivalent to like some sort of really serious cancer, and he made that joke. Then it's really in real poor taste.
Right. That's different. Very poor taste. Because first of all, like I said, it ain't cancer. I mean, come on now. And on top of that, he didn't know. But someone here says most people did not know she had alopecia. It was news to a lot of people, everybody. Yeah, a lot of people. If you didn't watch her show, you didn't know she had that.
And doesn't it sound kind of like made up? Doesn't it sound something that's kind of like made up?
If no one watched if you didn't watch Red Table Talk, you didn't know that.
Know.
I honestly, I thought she just wore her hair like that because a lot of people do that. There's a lot of females that cut their hair.
She has done it before. I mean,
her daughter does it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, how do I know what I didn't know?
But I think, but because her daughter did it to be in,
which I didn't know that either.
Solidarity
Exactly.
with her mom.
I didn't know that either. All I know is I saw her daughter come out in public with her hair that short. Yeah. That's all I knew. So
and it's not like Jada Pinkett hasn't come out like, because I mean the movie Demonite, her hair was short like that. So
right. I mean she's always worn her hair short.
It wasn't short like that.
Yeah, not like short like that. But she's always worn her hair short. So the point is, when you shave your hair for whatever reason, hell, Sanaa Lathan at one point had her hair shaved. I think she did it for a role or something. But at one point,
for that movie,
she had her hair shaved. So Sanaa Lathan was sitting there, and he made that same joke. It would have been to him generically the same joke, but because she took it more personal because of her thing, and that's where it all come from. So once again, you sitting in the crowd. Man, you sitting in the crowd, you got a comedian, they're going to, and he's been doing this for years. It's the same thing. The Jennifer Lopez joke. Jennifer Lopez came here with two limos, one for her and one for her ass. You know what I mean? Like, he made the same, this is what he does. That is what Chris Rock does. So to me,
I don't agree. I don't agree that he would have did that. He wouldn't have did that if anybody else was sitting in the crowd. He wouldn't have made that particular joke at her, but at anybody else that was sitting there in that crowd.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all, because
just
look at his past. History shows us, but I'm going by history. History shows us that he would have. Because he made jokes. History shows he's done that stuff.
History shows that he would have made jokes. But here's the thing. Here's the bottom line for me. The bottom line is he should have been more selective at what he was doing. As black people, we deal with enough in front of.
Leave that garbage out of here.
It's not garbage.
That's garbage, man. As black people, we deal with enough, so don't make a joke about a black person.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying don't make a joke about a black person. That's not what I'm saying. If we're in a setting like Def Comedy Jam and it's a room full of us, do what you do. But if you're in a comedy special, do what you do. But if you're in a formal setting like that, there's some stuff that you just keep with us. Like if he would have said that joke, it would have been. Wait, let me finish.
It would have offended her.
No. Let me finish. If he would have did that joke, and it would have been a room full of us, it would have hit different. It would have been.
Wait a minute now. Now, how can you truly say that when we just talked about that it supposedly hurt her because of her alopecia? So whether you're in a room full of black people or an empty room, it would still hit the same way, shouldn't it?
It probably would. It probably would have still hit her the same way. It would. I'm not saying that it would or it wouldn't have hit her the same way. But the reaction from Will probably would have been a little bit different, because at least I just like I said,
you're reaching.
No, I'm not. But aren't we all when we discuss?
No, I'm going by what happened.
Listen,
and then I'm going by history. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but historically, he would not have said nothing like that about anybody else.
No, that's not true. History does not show us that. Go look at any other time that Chris Rock has.
Pause. I'm going to make a correction. And I'm going to say right here, right now, that Kevin Yulee was wrong. Wes is absolutely right when he says, according to history, because according to history, in a setting, if you're sitting in the front row, you are going to get it. So with that being said,
it's not just Chris Rock. He's not the only comedian.
I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. Right now, I'm keeping it focused on Chris Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, and with what you said as far as history goes, as far as that's concerned, you're probably. I'll give you an absolute. I will agree with you. That point blank plain something, and I was wrong, because if you are in the front row, you are more than likely going to become a target. And again, it wasn't that he had a set. He also was going off the cuff, because that's what comedies do.
That's what comedians do. At least good comedians, that's what they do. And what I'm saying is, like, if you go back to when he hosted the MTV Awards, right? I remember distinctively some particular jokes. Like I said, the one about Jennifer Lopez. She didn't like that joke either. She didn't take I don't even think she laughed about a joke. He said Jennifer Lopez came with two limos, one for her, one for her ass. He said, "Oh, everybody talk about." He said, "I think she should give more attention to the ass." That's what he said. You know, the ass is Lionel Richie. Jennifer Lopez is just the Commodores. The ass is Lionel Richie. You know what I'm saying? Like he says that. He talked about NSYNC. Or I like to call them the Spice Boys. You know what I'm saying? Like he's saying anything. He's going around the room, snapping on people, whatever he do. That's what he does. He's done it plenty of times in the past when he's hosted events.
I get that one, but
not everyone's amused by it. Most people aren't amused by it, and he's not there. Before you finish, he's not the only one who does that. That other dude, what's his name, Rick Gravis or whatever. He's another one who does that. He goes in. He goes in.
Ricky Gravis.
Yeah, he goes in on people. If you in that front row, you sitting like this. Oh man, this dude is about to say something. He goes in. That's why they ain't brought his ass back.
Because he said it the last time.
Yeah, he was offending people.
He was like, I think after this one, they're definitely not gonna call me back. So. And they did. I think from now on, Jimmy Kimmel is going to be their safe.
Well, he's safe now. That's a good segue to Jimmy Kimmel. I think he's not just safe because Jimmy Kimmel knows. Don't get it wrong. Now he could get dirty if he need to, but this wasn't the setting for it. Especially now after this, after what happened, he decided to make, and I thought very cleverly, he decided to make it where. If you really break down what he was saying, he was basically saying, I'm gonna take it easy. I ain't snapping on nobody. We got some things in place to make sure everybody is safe and blah blah blah. He was running with that whole narrative because that was part of his joke, right? So he instead of going around the room snapping on people, he included them in his joke. He said, well, if anybody decides they want to come up on stage and get jiggy with it, he said, you got to come through. You got a couple people you have to get through. Then he started including people. He included Adonis Creed, Michael B. Jordan, and then they put the camera on them. You got to come through Adonis Creed first. You got to come through the Mandalorian first. You got to come through, like stuff like that. So, he just included people in his joke as opposed to whatever. Once again,
Stuber was like, "Yeah, what's up?"
yeah, they always do.
But see again, his jokes weren't selective. His jokes were preset because this whole Oscar setting, and it was a good show. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna lie, it was a very good Oscar show. I was very from start to finish. I did fast forward a couple of parts because I always do that. I wait till the show started about 45 minutes, and that way, if there's parts I want to skip, I can just skip past them. But this whole Oscars was pretty much the theme was commercials. We're going to do in-house advertising for ABC for shows, whether it's our show. Because notice, before they went to certain breaks, They had a homegirl come up, her and I love that woman. I don't know why I can't forget her name. Bailey and Miss Bailey and the lady that's gonna play Ursula and whatchamacallit,
The Little Mermaid.
The Little Mermaid. You know, they
Right.
had them come and do their thing. Somebody else came up. There were like 2 or 3 times that happened, and then you had Jimmy Kimmel say what he said about who in the crowd is going to protect him. And think about it. Everybody that he named has a show or a movie that's currently out at the time. So I thought that was clever.
Brilliant, yeah. Really good way of promoting, and at the same time, laughing at the moment, whatever.
Yeah.
It was nothing. I remember someone came across my timeline, was like, "Oh, why we're still on the slap?" I said, "Listen, we've already said from the beginning, there's no way any good host has to address that and get it out the way. You have to. It's impossible. This is the first time that we're back in the same setting since it happened. So you address it. I think he also did a good job addressing the other elephants in the room. He made a joke about the fact that no women were, not a joke, but he made it like he basically called out the Academy for
that no women directors.
No women directors. I thought that was great to address that. He also even addressed the Woman King and Till not being nominated. So I think he hit all the points that he should have hit as a host. You know what I'm saying? He did it in his own way. Now another host might have been harsher. They might have hit it harder. Chris Rock would have hit it harder. Now, if Rock was hosting, he would have tore. They would have never brought him back. He'd have tore the Oscars a new one.
Well, let me tell you something. Well, first of all, if it was anybody else, they wouldn't have said what Jimmy Kimmel said. He wouldn't. The Rock would not have said what Jimmy Kimmel said.
No, I said Chris Rock would have definitely addressed that.
No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't address none of that.
Yes, of course he would have. Of course he would have. Yes,
that's your opinion. That's your opinion and your assumption. Yeah, and I don't believe he would have.
Well, you don't believe it. That's fine. But I'm a fan of Chris Rock's comedy, and yes, I truly believe, and any fan of his comedy will probably agree with me. He definitely wouldn't. There's never an opportunity that Chris Rock, especially if it's a current opportunity, there's never an opportunity that he hasn't in the past had the opportunity to address it. When he was up on the when he hosted he was the first black person to host like the MTV Awards or whatever. He addressed that right out the gate. He's like, I'm up here opening MTV Music Awards, whatever it was he was hosting. He said, you know what that means? I'm the first black man on this stage without a mop in his hand. That's what he said. He went right in, right out the gate. There's no way I believe anybody who knows Chris Rock's comedy, there's no way he wouldn't address the no women directors until and the Woman King not and get nominated. It's no way he wouldn't address that if he was hosting that show. Any good host would have done it. I think Grievous would have did it too. Any good host.
No, Grievous definitely wouldn't have did it. Yeah, Grievous definitely wouldn't have did it because he wouldn't. He would. The only thing he probably would have addressed. Grievous probably would have addressed the no women directors, but that's about it. He wouldn't have mentioned anything, maybe
he wouldn't have mentioned the Woman King and all that stuff. But Chris Rock, the
only reason why I think that, and the only reason why I know that Jimmy Kimmel addressed what he addressed is because of the writers that he has. You know what I'm saying? They keep their ear, and maybe Chris Rock, maybe he would have, but in this instance. I don't think he would have addressed, because I think Jimmy Kimmel was purposely trying to make the white people in the room feel uncomfortable.
Well,
at the very least the Academy. Like, are you stupid?
Yeah, of course.
Like how could you? How is it? And again, that's addressing. And again, him saying that is addressing the people in the room. because the people in the room are the ones who are the ones who pick these films, who vote to make these films come forward. So it's like, wait a minute. So out of all of these movies that you guys saw, you chose not to.
Right, you chose not to. Now, Life with Kenya says he definitely would have addressed it because that would be his time to shine. All eyes would be on him. Thank you for your comment, Life with Kenya. I think, like I said, I think, to be honest with you, I don't think I'm not saying it's not a big deal, but what I mean is, I think any good comedian has to address it.
Take advantage of the moment.
Yeah, any good comedian has to address it. And let's not forget, at his core, Jimmy Kimmel's a comedian. All right, he's a host of the show and stuff like that. But
he is a comedian.
He's a comedian at his core. So
that's true.
You know what I'm saying? So any good comedian cannot pass that opportunity up. And the fact that the Oscars, this what made me mad, and I was so glad that he did bring it up, because the fact that the Oscars use clips from The Woman King and clips from Till in their little, thing, whatever their little piece that they put together.
Montage.
Yeah, their montage of stuff like that. You're gonna use clips. You're gonna use clips from these movies.
But here's why I'm gonna tell you why they use the clips.
You didn't nominate them. Were you trying to pacify us by putting clips in there? That's crazy.
No, but it was kind of sort of, to me, I looked at it as a smack in the face, because it's like, oh, guess what? Because you submitted, because obviously we know they had to be submitted. Because if it wouldn't be a problem if it wasn't submitted, it wouldn't be an issue. Everybody would have known, like, oh, The Woman King, they didn't submit it for an Oscar. Okay, so that's why they didn't get picked.
It was submitted,
but obviously it was submitted. Yeah. So all of these people in this room decided to wear, like, oh, because I'm gonna be honest with you, the only thing I kept saying is like, wow, this room is really white this year. It's a little sprinkle of salt there, but it's just like, okay, yeah, you know what? Last year was y'all moment, and guess what? Our favorite white boy screwed it up for y'all. So now, guess what? The only thing y'all get to do is we gonna put y'all up here and let y'all present a couple of things, and we'll let Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Obviously, everybody's gonna make sure that gets in. Especially, and it's gonna get in. I'm surprised it didn't go in for Best Picture. That's the other thing I'm surprised about. But I'm not surprised about it because that movie was mad long, and it wasn't like the and like I said to you off air, Wes, the luster of Black Panther is kind of worn off on people. It's not the commodity or the.
I agree with you, but I also believe that the luster has worn off because of our own people tearing it down. So that's that
part too. That the whole recast T'Challa thing.
That hurt the movie more than help it, obviously. And it's like, even after the fact that you could not accept that they weren't recasting T'Challa for this movie, and they moving on, they're filming the movie's done, it's in post, and you're still going on hurting the film.
And it wasn't just that. It was two things. It was the recast T'Challa, and also people just not accepting Namor. They're just not accepting. Now you see, if they, and here's the bad part. Unfortunately, because our comic books, and I'm going to say this because I am, you all three know, I am a huge comic book fan. I've been a comic book fan since forever. But the unfortunate side of being a comic book fan is that you have to realize that back then, everything was, Chris, everything had to be from the lens of what white Jewish people thought of what they want, and no harm, no foul. They weren't trying to purposely do anything wrong. It was just their presentation of stuff was this is what we're told. Like we're told that Atlantis, that there are certain truths that we're taught that are just not true. So unfortunately, that reflects in books and it reflects in films. And unfortunately, it really reflects in films when films have to go by the source material. Because they're like, well, this is what the comics said. But if you don't have knowledge outside of what you've been presented to you, and to be like, but wait a minute, because like it's some stuff you don't learn about things until you get in college. You'd be like, well, wait a minute, why they ain't tell me about this stuff when I was in high school? Why they wait until now to tell me about this stuff? So like, and I said that to say, if they would have said Namor, if they would have told the truth about Atlantis being the actual the Atlantis was sunk and it's a part of the North Saharan Desert. If they would have presented that, people really would have lost their mind. So them going with bringing Aztecs into, or Incas, whichever one they brought in. Excuse me if I'm disrespecting anybody's thing. It had the whole along with the recast T'Challa thing was like, yo, what are y'all doing?
Right.
Y'all messing our whole thing up.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
but
I don't know if I
think
agree
a lot
with
of people,
that whole the first part. Yes,
I agree with a lot of
agree with
what
the
you
first part,
said.
yeah.
But I did see a lot of I know a lot of fanboys that didn't have a problem with the new origin of Namor, surprisingly. But so anyway, with that being said, so the Oscars went on, and it became a very. I just saw an interview. I just saw an article that came across because what's the guy's name? The guy who did the director who did the movie Taxi Driver is obviously he complained about the Oscars.
Scorsese?
No, no. The guy who wrote it. Sorry, the guy who wrote Taxi Driver, Paul Schneider. He slams the Oscars because he thought it was too, diverse. It wasn't about Hollywood. The Oscars should be about Hollywood and celebrating our own. That's what he said. The Oscars should be about. He said it was too international. He's like the Oscars become the international Oscars.
But it's about film. Isn't it about film?
It is about film. I'm just
the
saying,
Hollywood is about film. It doesn't matter whether you're in India.
That was we all know what that was. Yeah. That was just his way. You want to talk about hiding? That was just his way of hiding behind his racist comments. And people gonna say, you gotta pull the race card. I'm not pulling the race card. He's pulling the race card because what the hell is that supposed to mean? That Hollywood is supposed to be celebrating. The Oscars will be celebrating Hollywood and what we in our own. What does that mean? What does that even mean? First of all, you're 100% wrong. The Oscars are supposed to celebrate film and filmmakers. That is what the Oscars.
The whole academy is put together. It's a
body of filmmakers. And guess what, buddy? Exactly. Once again, you're one of those old heads, the old guard that just won't let it go. They don't even the biggest films aren't even made in Hollywood no more, brother. Sorry.
Listen, as a matter of fact, where's Pinewood Studios?
Man, let me tell you something.
London.
Pinewood Studios.
London.
Pinewood Studios is in England.
Yep, it's in England. Trilliff Studios is the number 2 studio in the nation. That's right here in Atlanta. Tyler Perry Studios is in Atlanta. Yes, you still got big studios, of course. The classics are out there in Hollywood.
But everything is mostly filmed in Pinewood and in Canada. Yep. Look at the end of the title.
Canada and Atlanta, and they kind of use all of them.
Vancouver.
Vancouver. Vancouver.
And at the end, what do you see? Pinewood Studios, the big Georgia peach, or you see that Canada symbol.
Or all of them. depending on what movie it
The
was.
film, yeah.
Right, you know, because a lot of times they'll film stuff that's like sets here,
Yep.
and then they'll film outside stuff in England and in Canada, stuff
As a
that's
matter of
more like
fact,
on location.
As a matter of fact, our soon to come Blade movie is mostly going to be filmed in England, unless if they didn't change everything. That whole set is supposed to take place in England.
Yeah. So I mean, I just wanted, right. So with that being said, I just had to throw that in there. But that leads into Everything Everywhere All at Once really, really had a big night. They didn't sweep the night, but they really owned
deservingly
the night.
so.
They really owned the night. Now I had my little ballot scorecard that I did with shout out to my movie crew. There's a crew of people that I used to always go to the movies with, and we still got our little chat and stuff. So we do ballots every year of who could come the closest. I came in second. You know who messed me up? Everything Everywhere All at Once. They messed me up with Best Picture because I didn't think they were gonna get Best Picture. I thought they might.
No, I knew
I
that
thought
one.
they might get. I thought they might get Best Director.
This is why, Wes. This is why
I didn't think it was Best Picture because I thought I fell a victim to the Hollywood bullshit. Meaning, like, I thought Hollywood was gonna look out for their own. That's like this guy said.
Gun?
I thought they were gonna go to Top Gun because it quote unquote saved the movies. It saved Hollywood.
But let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. Here's why I knew they were going to win. I knew they were going to win because A, everybody loved that movie. B, even though some of the old, quote unquote, old guard is still there to vote, when you voted for Best Picture, you're talking about Best Picture of all of those movies, of all those movies that are up there. Listen, as much as I love Top Gun, Maverick, I knew, and I'm not even a huge fan of Everything Everywhere All at Once. But one thing I do know is, and that I'm not stupid to, is that everybody loved that movie. Particularly if I know you and Ralph love that movie, I know everybody loved that movie. Like, I know that it was a good.
Now I read. It's funny that you said that, everybody, because apparently, even though it won, everybody didn't, because I just read this article of one of the voters. They remained anonymous, but they're an Academy voter, and the person was going in on. She was saying, I think they said it was a female, but she was like that movie was trash. No, she didn't say it was trash. Let me rephrase that. I'm not gonna put the words in her mouth, but she just didn't like the movie. She said, I thought the movie, it was decent. She said, and I thought Jamie Lee Curtis. She's like, I voted for Jamie Lee Curtis because she did a good job in the movie. She's like, but I didn't particularly like the movie. She's like, but I liked that movie better than I liked Wakanda Forever, so I voted for Jamie Lee Curtis. Right? She also they also say that they didn't think that they just basically said who they voted for based on why they voted for them or whatever. But yeah, so apparently everybody didn't like it. I mean, the movie was. I knew and on my scorecard I got a lot of these things right. I knew they were gonna win Best Original Screenplay. I definitely knew that. I might have said that months ago, and I put it on my scorecard. I knew they were gonna. I knew that, especially after the SAG Awards, I knew that Michelle Yeoh was gonna win Best Actress. What did we talk about just last show? I said when I brought those numbers up, 9 times out of 10, it's a high percentage. Got to be in the 90s percentage wise. When someone wins the SAG Award, they are a high favorite to win the Academy Award. Doesn't happen all the time, but it happens quite often. And this time it rang true again. And that's what did we? I think me and Ralph both mentioned it. We both got scared for Auntie when Jamie Lee Curtis won the SAG. Remember we
And
said
what
it
I
on the
said,
show.
I said because she's Hollywood royalty.
Yeah,
that
and
is
and
it was their moment to put a crown on her. And that's why. And and this is what I love: the fact that she knows what the moment was. Like compared to all the other stuff that was up there, because think about it, her role in that movie was very small. And maybe her and Auntie probably had about the same amount of screen
They
time.
probably had about the same amount of screen time. Yeah.
But as far as impact, if you had to watch either one of those, you'd have to vote for Auntie. But because again of what you guys said, she's Hollywood royalty, but she's she's one of those stars. She's like Samuel L. Jackson. She's on that pedestal of people that were like Hollywood royalty. So if this was her time, this movie was her gateway into the Oscar nomination.
No.
This was definitely her only. This was definitely going to be her only time. Because let's keep it 100 here. Jamie Lee Curtis is a scream queen. Jamie Lee Curtis has made her fame from horror.
That's true.
The Oscars do not really even honor horror films. They never do.
But they honor her because she's been she's that piece of
Hollywood
on your
I agree
mantle.
with you. The Hollywood royalty part from her pedigree, from her, right. And I get that. And my point is, I don't think she would have really ever had another opportunity to win an Oscar. This was one of her first moments ever, because she's never really been nominated because she's mostly done horror most of her career.
No, she had no. There's a bunch of stuff in Jamie Lee Curtis's thing that is
she's
non-horror.
done. Well, yeah, she's done. I'm not saying that she hasn't.
Ralph, the point is she's never been nominated.
But what I'm sitting there saying is, when I said that she's whole orally, that she is a link to old school Hollywood.
Yes,
that's what
she
it is.
She's royalty.
Yeah. That woman has realistically been doing this for close to 50 years now.
Ain't that what I said?
Yes,
ain't that what
said. But the idea because she was a scream queen. I mean,
no one said that.
You misunderstood what I said.
Yeah, you missed that point.
I said everything always, that movie, her starring in that movie, and that movie getting or co-starring in that movie, and that movie getting into all the awards, that was her gateway into her getting her awards, because that film was nominated, then Michelle Yeoh was nominated, then Short Round was, I'm sorry because I can't never remember his name. I only remember him in Short Round. I know that's bad, so forgive me for that. Short Round gets nominated, so they're like, well, shit, since we nominated an action queen, we're nominating a childhood star from the 80s. Why not go back and reach and pull up Jamie as well? Because she's a part of this movie. So why don't we here's our chance to give her flowers.
Exactly.
And
we may not have another opportunity. So if they were having a conversation about this, let's just say the conversation would go somewhere along the lines of, well, Angela more than likely is going to be back here sometime. We don't know if Jamie's ever going to be back here. Here's her opportunity. She already won the SAG award. Here's her opportunity. I'm just saying, I'm not saying that this conversation happened. I'm just using it as an example. So people, when in their minds, if I was a voter, that would have crossed my mind. I'd have been like, you know what? Jamie Lee Curtis may never have another opportunity to win an Oscar. So you know what? I'm going to vote for her, because Angela Bassett more than likely will have another opportunity to win an Oscar because she's that good of an actress. And she does films that are in roles that are Oscar worthy. I'm just saying that's a rationale that I can see going through someone's head. Because when has Jamie Lee Curtis up until this point really had an opportunity where she's put in a performance that was Oscar worthy and she was nominated for, and she's never really had that opportunity. And whenever again is she gonna have that opportunity?
She did do one which she probably could have, but she didn't. That's a Fish Called Wanda.
Right, but
I think that movie she didn't.
Nah, come on, come on. A Fish Called Wanda? Nah, this one is more deserving than A Fish Called Wanda.
Wait, hold it. But if that's the case, I mean, Kevin Kline won an Oscar. Johnny's nominated for an Oscar for the screenplay. So you have some of the exact same components and it was a totally original story. You had same components that you have for this movie.
You're saying that could have been an opportunity, but she didn't. It didn't happen for her. So my point is the rationale. Going back to the
places.
I'm going back to the rationale of them having the opportunity. So them looking at it as I know, and that doesn't mean it's right either. I'm not saying that that's the right rationale you should have, but I could definitely see that's my justification for it because. I mean, clearly, performance versus performance, it's not even close, in my opinion. You know, Angela Bassett's performance, Angela Bassett's performance, in my opinion, was light years better than Jamie Lee Curtis' performance in everything, everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was cool to see her in that role, in that capacity, and you know, kind of like the bad guy, you know, or antagonist in a way, not really, but you know, in a way, in some part of it, because it's different universe. It was all interesting, and I thought it was cool. But I did not think it was worthy of an Oscar nomination, and definitely not worthy of an Oscar win. However, I understand.
I think the girl.
I
think the girl that played the daughter was a stronger than
I
agree.
I agree. I totally agree. And the other component that we need to add to this is two components that we need to add to this. One is the voters that are voting now compared to the voters back earlier in her career, and two, the fact that she's now pretty much an executive producer on most of her projects that she's done now. And even though Halloween ends and the whole Halloween franchise, you know, is horror, but she's still now an executive. So that puts her at a different tier. So now not only is she a Hollywood royalty, but now you're an executive.
Like I said, I 100% agree with it. And that this was the only opportunity, and maybe the only and last opportunity to get that in for her. So they gave it to her. Now, Life with Kenya has an interesting thought. She just said, I saw people saying Angela needs to diversify her portfolio at this point with that makes a difference. So that's you know. So you said that's where she said I've saw people say that Angela. Yeah, I mean I think she has. We'll get back to that comment. There's another comment I want to see in the room.
Yeah, we have to go back to that last one.
Thanks to the chat room. Joe says RRR should have been nominated for Best Picture. Oh, okay. I didn't see it. And,
I didn't even hear about it.
You know, but I know that the best song had me dying because I'm like, yo, that song's a whole mood. Even though I didn't, you know, I wanted either Diane Warren, I wanted one or Lady Gaga or even Rihanna to win, but I wasn't mad at that song winning because that song was a whole mood, yo. So I was cool with that.
And that's the first time. And here's why I think that guy is mad. And I don't want to lose track of that comment that what's her face.
No, I'm going back to it because I'm still working through the comments. So I'm going back.
But what Homeboy said, what that writer said. Here's probably one of the reasons why he's mad. because Hollywood, when he probably saw that whole performance for that Bollywood movie, he was probably like, "What in the hell is going on?" Number one, that performance was the tightest. That is the tightest. I don't care. Ain't nobody arguing.
It was
with
the
me.
best performance to me.
Listen,
I loved it.
Listen,
they were
not only was
it.
it the best, not only was it the best performance. I have been waiting for this moment for over 15 years. I have been waiting for Bollywood choreography to come to an American stage and be like, "Bong, here it is."
Oh, they
and it happened once, but this is the second time it happened, and this time it's like, holy dip, what's going on here? And also, it was a TikTok movement.
It was a TikTok movement too. That's what really made it. Like I said, it on every levels. He was probably just sick.
So Joseph, I don't 100% agree with you, Joseph, as far as it being best picture, but for being best song.
That was Joe who said that.
Listen.
Not Joe. Well, he might be Joseph, but it was Joe here, not Joseph, but Joseph.
Oh, Joe. Okay.
His comment was there any movies from Ireland mentioned? The Banshees of Inisherin.
And there was another one. There was two of them. The Banshees of Inisherin. Yeah, and there was another one.
Now I'm gonna be honest with you. That movie was boring to me. I tried to watch it. I tried to watch it because I tried to go to I tried to watch all of the Oscar nominated films. Since my behind was sitting here sick with COVID, I didn't have nothing else to do. Let me watch some TV. Let me see if I can watch.
Banshees of Ireland was strictly dialogue. If you're not, that is something that
I love dialogue heavy movies. I'm okay with that. It just the movie was boring to me. Probably just because it was just out of my interest
wheelhouse.
As far as the wheelhouse. Yeah. So, but it was nominated for quite a few. Joseph, unfortunately, it won none. It did not win any that it was nominated for. And then RR was amazing on all levels. Okay. Sylvia the screenwriter. Okay, that's what's up. I'm gonna check it out because, like I said, that song and that performance is a whole mood. I was like, yo, I'm loving this right here.
What if I said to y'all? What have I been saying to y'all for decades on and off about Bollywood movies?
Yeah, Bollywood movies.
Some of them, especially, listen, I have a ruined bladder. My bladder is jacked up because I sat in a 3.5 hour action Bollywood movie. Bollywood movies go just like this. Story, get you hooked, action, dance, love.
And
Mama
final
mad
dance.
at her daughter.
Dance at the end.
Mama dance and daughter, rinse, repeat, and then final dance at the end, depending on the movie.
At the end. So that's interesting. And thanks for your comment, Sylvia. That's cool. She said it was amazing on all levels. Yo, that's dope.
I had to watch
it obviously, hey, from one screenwriter to another screenwriter. Now I got to take her advice and go check it. I got to take what she said and go check it out. You know what I mean?
And now I like I said, I've been telling people for decades, I'm telling y'all, go check it. And sometimes even before Roosevelt Field was renovated, that was one of the if you lived here on Long Island and you wanted to go see a Bollywood movie and you were looking for, because that was one of the reasons why I started going, is because I was looking for chicks. Because I knew it's like going to church. If you want a specific chick, you know where to go get them. I know where to go to go get chicks.
Yeah, that's funny.
And listen, these Bollywood movies, I'm telling you, everybody turns out for them. And they're because they don't really go to other movies. They go to their movies. And when I walked in there,
It's called support, people.
I went there looking for one thing. I'm not even gonna go there. Please don't make me go there. Please do not make me go. Can we please not? Can we please not go there? Can we please not go there? I'm trying very hard right now not to go there. but I feel myself slipping in. I wasn't even thinking about that, and now here you go, making me segue and slipping into a zone that I don't want to go into.
Yeah,
but why can't? But since you said it, why can't we show up? Why I can go to a Bollywood movie and the whole movie is practically sold out, 3.5 hours. Ain't nobody getting up to go to the bathroom. But I go see The Woman King and it's only 5 of us in the theater. Explain it to me.
Yeah, please make it make sense. You know what I mean? It's like like we said, you go see The Woman King and there's so many empty seats.
But my main point was, y'all go check out these Bollywood movies because
check them out.
Because y'all ain't going to see nothing else.
You ain't see nothing else, right? So now they got some good movies coming out. Let's get to real quick before we continue.
I told you guys that when I said watch the month of March, the box office is gonna start ticking back up. You got every week you got to hit
out this month. Yeah. So let's before we continue with the winners, they did mention during the show. I mean, they showed the Little Mermaid official trailer, and I watched it. Obviously,
y'all mad
well, people to be mad, but
I'm muting myself. I'm muting myself because
I'm gonna I'm looking at it from strictly. I'm just strictly critiquing it from what I saw, and I watched it a couple times. I think that it's going to be, I'm sure it'll be fine. I wasn't particularly, I was more like meh when I saw it. I was like, okay. I want to know a little more about it because there was one image that really disturbed me, and I don't think Disney would go here, but we never know. The way she was dressed, even for that time, she kind of was dressed like a peasant girl, almost like and I'm just like, please don't tell me do not address that elephant. The fact that she is a darker skin. Why was she dressed like that with that rag over her head and stuff like that? I'm just I'm just saying. It's an image that I'm going by, and I'm just like, I just hope they're not going in that direction. And
what I got from that is because of that time period, and because remember, mermaids deal with pirates and with sailors and all of that stuff, and it's probably mostly a European mindset, not depending on where they're coming from, or maybe even Greek. Which is still European. What I got from that is that she probably was trying to fit in and not look because that's all she saw. Those are the images that she saw.
Right.
So she dressed herself into
those type of women.
Yeah. Okay. And particularly the people who probably work on the docks.
Right. Yeah, because you gotta remember where she get her clothes from. She has to get them from somewhere. So
exactly,
remember, she comes to shore unclothed. Like I said, I just now about the whole trailer itself. Yeah, we know the music's gonna be good. We know her voice is amazing. Cool.
But I hope they work on that animation. That's the only thing. That's the only thing I'm saying. There's CGI.
Well, I think they will. I think it's early. Trailer, whatever. I think they will. And
but here's the reason why
a lot of places do that. A lot of times they'll put something out and they'll get feedback from people, and they'll change it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
true. Because that's what happened with Sonic. They first threw that image out there, and boy, we was like, "What are you doing?"
Boy, they got destroyed. And they were like, "Oh, sorry.
Oh my God!
Fire that man. Let's get somebody else in here."
Yeah. Henry, you're gone. Chi-Chong Cho, and come on in. Fix this for us, please.
Let's do
but
it.
I don't think that. I think because Disney right now is being punched in the face because of their CGI issues. Not trying to go off track from what we're talking about, but it's kind of tied into. with what people said. Like, I loved Ant-Man and the Wasp. I didn't see nothing wrong with it. People are punching that in the face. People are still talking about the CGI errors in Phase 4, particularly with She-Hulk. People just, they just won't let it go. So right now, Disney is in we need to get it right. And we need to start fixing stuff. And I think that's the reason why their Marvel slate is being pushed out so far now, is because, and it's one of the things that everybody's talking about, is that, they need to stop rushing the CGI work. In particular, in this type of movie, you need to make sure that whatever you call them is crossed and dotted the way they're supposed to be, because this is going to be like this. Like, for me, later, for the fact that it's a black woman that's playing Ariel, it's that plus the fact that it's a Bailey, and I'm tired of these girls getting bashed, particularly the one sister. And I want a win. I want a win in their book. And
I agree with you, but obviously, I'm not approaching it from that angle about a black Ariel. I mean, I'm just more so, the CGI is a little concerning. What's not concerning, obviously, is the singing, and the story's the story. We already know the story. What changes they'll make, we'll see if there's any. There'll be probably some songs added. Mostly the rest are gonna be there. I wasn't too in love with the way they did Sebastian so far. And I don't even know, is that guy is that who plays that voice? I'm gonna look that up. Who's voicing Sebastian? Is he because didn't Sebastian have like an accent? He had like a Jamaican accent, right?
Yeah, he's Caribbean, not Jamaican. He's
Caribbean, just Caribbean. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. I'm not concerned with the voice. I think the way it looked was okay. So we'll see.
I'm concerned with the voice.
Here's the deal.
I'm concerned with the voice. He better sound Caribbean, because he sound like the black bartender down.
Right, I looked it up. I looked up the guy. The guy that's playing him, his name is David Diggs.
Oh, David. David Diggs. Yeah. Okay. Now I don't know if David is Caribbean, but that's the dude that's the dude from Hamilton. He's an actor.
Here's my thing. Why do we keep doing? It's 2023. Why do we keep acting like we can't pull people from other communities to come in and be themselves and be them? You know what I'm saying? Why can't we do that? I mean, Disney in their brilliance. For those of you who don't know, if you ever watch what's their channel called? Forum, Disney Forum. What was it called, Wes?
Disney Plus?
No, not the Disney Plus. The one that they had before Disney Plus. Disney Forum. Freeform. If you watch Freeform, and I think this was on Freeform. If it wasn't on Freeform, it was on the WB, but I think it was on Freeform. It was a show called Sirens. And that was the first show that showed mermaids as being black. Now, granted, one of the head mermaids was white, whatever. Disney was smart. And they was like, look, we're going to start introducing this stuff and get you used to this stuff. So if you followed that, then you saw that. So that's why I was just surprised when Ariel came out. But if you're going to represent people, why can't you get people? It's like getting Don Cheadle to play an Englishman. How many black English people do we know? And listen, I love Don Cheadle.
Right.
And I understand what they were trying to do.
To try to do a Cockney accent. It was terrible. But
which I think it was just the joke of the movie. I think that was supposed to be a part of the joke of the movie. That's what I had to chalk it up at. Because I'm just like, it just don't make sense. You got all of these people in Hollywood that you could have picked to pull in, and you don't.
Yeah. I wouldn't have. Now, David he's a voice actor, you know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't have chosen him to do that. They might have just put him there because he is a voice actor. But because he didn't he hasn't done a lot of stuff where he was like in it. Like I said, Hamilton, and a couple other things. He might have been. Was he in the other one that Lin-Manuel did? He might have been, but I don't know. But anyway, he's a voice actor most of the time. He does a lot of cartoons.
I hope he does it well. I don't want to see something else that comes out like Predator or like Predator 2 or what's that Steven Seagal movie with the Jamaicans that he beat up 100 Jamaicans and didn't get one bullet shot, which is impossible. Which is impossible. I'm not even going to talk about that.
Every Jamaican I know hates that movie. I loved it. I ain't gonna lie. I love that movie.
Listen, I love that movie, but still, awesome. the main joke is.
Come on, let's be honest. Steven Seagal never gets beat up in his movies.
I know.
Especially in that one. See, in that movie, that's the one where he should have at least got a Heineken bottle in the net. At the very least. At the very least. Tell me where's the lie in what I'm saying.
Is well fun. I mean, yeah, but he never gets beat up in any of his movies. That's what all his movies is unrealistic because he never. The only movie was Hard to Kill, and that's because they got him in the beginning while he was in bed with his wife. That's the only reason why he was able to get him.
I like the way
for half the movie, for first part of the movie. Yeah. Then from that point on, he destroyed everybody.
Yeah.
But see, I like the way Michael Jai White put it. We were in the movie together, and he did do that stuff to me.
Who said that?
Michael Jai White. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, man. First of all,
but they did not really let the two of them go. I'm sorry.
No, they really didn't
let the two of them really go.
No.
It ain't like I would say like one with McQuaid. They let Norris and Carradine go at each other. You could tell they was pulling punches, but you could tell they was really working against each other. It was realistic. Still, and it's over. It's like, well, damn. What happened?
Yeah, but see, Steven Seagal ain't doing that with Michael Jai White. Like you said, that's the reason why if they would have let them go, it would have I don't know.
It might have been Oscar worthy. It might have been Oscar worthy. Like
segueing back to the Oscars.
But before we get back to the Oscars, because they show us, I got a gripe. I have a gripe, and it's a constant gripe that I keep making, and it's about Warner Brothers. Once again, once again, you guys have struck. Why in all that's holy would you drop the TV promos for the Shazam, and at the end of the promo, you got Wonder Woman showing up in it? You dropped the biggest Easter egg that you're having in your movie. You put it onto the TV commercial.
No,
right?
no, I don't know.
Why would you do that?
No, Ralph, I don't think they were. I think that was just to show their That was just to show their slate of what's going on. I don't think that was.
No.
Because look at that scene. That scene that they showed of Wonder Woman. That was from the Zack Snyder movie. That wasn't from. The Whedon cut.
No. That is from this version of Shazam. Like you have Gal Gadot in Shazam.
Oh, in Shazam. Yeah. No, she's supposed to be in Shazam.
She was definitely supposed to be in it.
But why would you drop that nugget on the TV commercial for it? It's not in the trailer.
Because they have to draw people. Nobody likes Shazam, Ralph. And don't get me wrong, Shazam was a good. I watched it on TV. Shazam was a good movie. I was kind of sort of mad a little bit that I didn't watch it in the theater. I still don't like it, but it was a decent movie. But nobody is like, oh damn, I need to go see Shazam. Let's get out tickets now.
No, I disagree because and I'm gonna tell you why. If Warner Brothers is really going to scrap the members that made up the Snyderverse, which Gal Gadot is one of them, why are you setting her up the same way you set up Henry Cavill?
But they're not setting her up for anything. And I guarantee you, they did reshoots to minimize her role in the movie. Because wait, let me finish. Because even out of what's his face's mouth, he said that the Flashpoint movie or the Flash movie is going to reset the DC universe. Now, here's the thing. It would still stand if Warner Brothers is giving the rights to the Zack Snyder universe to Netflix. If that part of it is true, then
not to cut you off, but I'll just kind of not correct it, but the last report that we saw that so far Amazon has actually jumped in. And
there you go.
Amazon has there has been they've already made a certain type of deal with Amazon. Now it has nothing to do with the Snyderverse, but certain properties are going to be shown on Amazon. Amazon has purchased a certain rights of properties or rights or whatever for DC
Some
properties.
DC characters.
Some DC characters, DC properties, right?
Right, but once again, it's Warner Brothers.
No, I get what you're saying. You feel that they shouldn't have put that Easter egg out there. You feel that they shouldn't have put it out there.
And on top of that one, since you mentioned the Amazon thing, Warner Brothers, you got Amazon that's paid what $1 billion for the Lord of the Rings, and now you're talking about, well, we think we want to make more Lord of the Rings movies. Why? Why are you doing that?
Because it works. Because there are fans of us out here who love Lord of the Rings and who love, and you got to remember too, Ralph, HBO has the fantasy line of, and I know we were getting way off topic, but HBO has the fantasy world on lock with Game of Thrones. Like basically, it don't matter, and Amazon's got Carnival Row. They have a bunch of stuff, but they're still not having this
Amazon. With Amazon trying to step in and do the DC properties. Well, I mean, not just that, and Warner Brothers. I mean, I don't know what we are definitely getting way off track here with all of this.
Yeah, because my gripe is just like Warner Brothers, please stop. And that thing said, there's a bunch of us fans that are Lord of the Rings fans. No, it's not, because that same loyal fan that came out for the Lord of the Rings series did not come out for Hobbits. It was a real big drop off between. Yeah, it was, and even Peter. And now I heard they're trying to get Peter Jackson. Peter Jackson was like, nah, no.
But here's the thing. Even with the drop off the Hobbits, that's just people being idiots, because The Hobbit was a good series. And even this TV show is great. You know what people's problem is with the TV show? It's too diverse. Meaning there's too much color in it. No, because I've heard it, Ralph. I've heard it.
I was going to say I haven't seen it, but my point is that Warner Brothers, if you guys had this offer on the table to redo Lord of the Rings, which off right there was dumb, okay, why would you then say, okay, I mean, you guys go ahead and you remake the Lord of the Rings, and then after it comes and say, well, you know what? On second thought, I think we're just going to create more Lord of the Rings type movies. We want to stay in this world, right?
Well, and the world is in now, and we are back to the Oscars. The world it's in now is a prequel to all the stuff that happened before. Like Sodor and all of that stuff it's leading up to that. It's all stuff that happened before why the ring became the ring.
I believe that Warner Brothers, I agree with you a little bit, Ralph. Warner Brothers should have learned by some things, first of all, if you have too much of a gap, we've already been proven 1,000,000 times already. Now, Avatar has proved otherwise, which I thought was going to fall into that same thing where there's such of a gap that it wasn't, going to take, so to speak. But Warner Brothers had that experience that with the Matrix. They took such of a gap and then tried to make a new Matrix, and it just didn't take.
Well, and it didn't take. Well, and the other reason why it didn't take because it wasn't there to begin with. If they would have brought the woman on,
but I mean, yeah, but my point is, regardless of the fact, it just didn't take. So
right,
that with that being said, Warner Brothers is, they should have learned from that, but they never learned from none of this stuff. They're just drawing straws. They're just, fishing right now. They're just trying to figure out what to do. And the idea of the Snyderverse being sold, or the ideas of the Snyder being sold, it would make more sense to go to Netflix because that's where Snyder is. So obviously it would make the most sense to it. And they still have an opportunity to do that because they could literally just say the properties of Zack Snyder's universe, his corner of the DC universe, they have that right to say, we're going to license that to you. Let Zack Snyder finish his thoughts, finish his saga. So the fans that were, so we can give, and it makes sense for what, actually they would be smart to do that because guess what? It takes the ball out of their court. Because if for whatever reason it's done and it's garbage, it's not on Warner Brothers. It's on Netflix. You know what I'm saying? So like if it's done and people hate it, you can't blame Warner Brothers at that point. They sold it out. They sold it out.
I don't think they're going to do that. What I think if they make a deal, it's going to be for characters that are E-list characters and say, hey, we're going to give you these guys. We wasn't planning to do nothing.
But see, they're not. They're not
that
going
because
to,
that's Gunn. Gunn loves those
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's, but they're going to keep those characters.
They're going to
try to keep those characters, but not only keep them in house, but what they're going
to
do
is
Netflix
would buy that either.
But here's the thing. Here's what they're going to do. If they let's just say in a real world, just to wrap this conversation up, let's just say in a real world, Netflix gets the Snyderverse. Here's what's going to happen, because everything that's in the DC universe. I'm talking about outside of the DC EU. I'm just going to talk about the DC universe altogether. Everything that's in the DC universe is a part of the Snyderverse. So what they're going to do in their licensing agreement, if they're smart, the way they'll do it is they'll be like, okay, we'll allow you to do whatever it is that you want to do with the characters that you want to do it with, but those characters are limited and set into your universe, and that's where they're going to stay. Those characters are never going to cross over with anything that we're doing over here. So now that gives James Gunn license and freedom for him to do whatever he wants to do and not really be concerned about what's going on in the Snyderverse. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm starting to believe that that's what's going on behind the scenes. Because it really never made sense to me how James Gunn is just going to, we're bringing James Gunn on to run the DCEU. Oh, yes, now the Snyderverse is not a thing anymore. We're just going to cancel that. Like, it didn't make sense to me. So to me, that probably meant that the Snyderverse had some place to go.
Well, if it happens, I don't know how sure I am it's going to happen, but if it happens, it would make the most sense to go to Netflix because that's where Snyder is, and only for him to go there, and for it to go there, let him do what he do, and that would be to me it's a win-win for Warner Brothers because they get to reap all of the reward and really take none of the blame if it was to go south, because they've given the rights to someone else to do it, and if for whatever reason it gets done, which I don't think that's what happened because if Snyder is doing it, but for whatever reason, maybe it didn't come out right, maybe whatever reason it doesn't go well, they're out of it. Like they don't catch blame for it. So why wouldn't you do this? But let's wrap up with so we just recapping, we know who won, but obviously Everything Everywhere All at Once, they won 7 of their 11 nominated awards. Brendan Fraser won for The Whale, Best Actor, well deserved. Best Director went to the Daniels for Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Deserve it as well. That one Daniel though, he's a little long-winded, but I like him. But yeah,
The
he's a
one with the
little
glasses.
long-winded. Yeah, a little long-winded. Yeah, he every time they got up there, he was talking. The orchestra was like this.
But
They were
but
ready.
you know what I
They were
like
ready
though?
to. They were ready to hit their. The orchestra
Yeah.
was like this. They were ready to hit the strings. Like, come on.
But I think,
But
but
they
you,
let
but you
him.
know
They
what the
let him
difference
rock.
is. But I'm gonna tell you why. I think the reason why they let him rock was one because the orchestra was right at the right hand side behind. They were up on the same level of the stage as the performers. Like usually they're down under. So it's just like, okay, he's long with it. Everybody play, but they're behind the screen. So they have to get a cue from somebody of when to start playing. So they were probably behind stage, and that person was probably like, and they were probably Asian, and they were probably like, you know what, let my man rock.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe, but like I said, he was definitely a little long with it. But okay, best
He
film
said, "I'm staying up here."
editing.
He said, "I'm staying up here
I
until they
picked
start
that
playing the
too.
music."
Yeah, I know. I picked Everything Everywhere as well on my ballot for best editing. As it was, especially out of the stuff
I
that
agree
we
with
saw.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I don't agree with nothing else about that movie, the editing on that movie was spectacular.
Spectacular. Yeah,
It was
and
spectacular.
I think I talked about this with you off air too, Kev. Now, best sound. I picked Top Gun because number one, I had a feeling because of all of the moving parts and the real things that go on in it. Plus, I told you I spoke to someone. I didn't get the pleasure of watching it in IMAX, but I spoke to someone who did, and they said it was phenomenal. Like
I
it was
saw them.
amazing
Let me
in
tell you something.
IMAX.
I saw them both in IMAX, and here's the problem. The problem is that the Batman, Top Gun was out way after the Batman was out. So so the Top Gun is the most recent thing. Is that you can't really remember your experience of the Batman, but because you just saw Top Gun, that experience is great. I saw the Batman 5 times in theaters.
Yeah, but
so
I mean,
from IMAX on down, and don't get me wrong.
I think the real world experience of, making you feel like you were in that jet and stuff like that. I think that with all of the panning and the sounds and stuff like that. I mean, I'm sure, in my opinion, that's probably what it was too. You're going from a fantasy world to a potentially real world experience where
whoa, slow down, and I don't want to stretch this out, but that let's just take that car chase scene in the Batman.
Okay.
That the sound in that was incredible.
No, it was great. I'm sure,
Incredible.
but I mean,
and that's
scene.
still no. It's not just one scene. There were plenty of scenes. But
no, I'm just saying that
same
particular
thing,
is one scene.
But you could say the same thing about Top Gun. That one scene when they were in the plane, or the one scene.
I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you why I picked it even before it was chosen. I'm just saying.
The only reason I see, here's my thing. My problem with some of these things when they're chosen, it's like I said, and I'm not rooting against Top Gun. The sound in it was definitely incredible. I saw it in IMAX. So I was the night that it opened. I saw it in IMAX in Westbury. So I totally agree with the sound and the vision. It was totally awesome. It was a very awesome experience. But here's the thing for me. The thing for me is when these films are shown, the experience in some of these movies is far apart. It's not really together. Like even All Quiet on the Western Front. Probably
that was my runner-up. That was my runner-up because just historically, war movies always kind of are top for sound.
When it comes to sound.
When it comes to
but the only but
there's
here's
so
the
much
two
going
reasons.
on in them. Yeah.
But here's the two reasons why I believe that movie, and this kind of rings true about what I'm saying. The reason why that movie probably didn't get as close as it should have gotten is because the in-theater experience wasn't as long as Top Gun.
Mm-hmm.
And also, above all of that, the fandom of Top Gun. So you got some of the people of the Academy who are voting for sound probably are like, this is my movie right here, and it's the most recent experience.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Well, yeah, and the experience, meaning like the Batman being a Batman movie, being a comic book movie, that kind of hurt it too, probably in the voting process. But they probably it's just another comic book movie. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, great. It was a comic movie. There's shooting. There's this. There's that going on. Okay, and that probably
but you
hurt
have the whole experience
too.
of what Tom. You have the whole experience of what Tom Cruise went through to be able to fly, and he physically was in there flying those planes.
Right? Yeah, with that, stuff like that, which also, as we know, the people from those departments also vote. So people probably know also how hard it is to track sound like that, and how hard, and things like that. So all of those things come into play when you're doing stuff like that. Like, yo, man, they were able to track sound like that and do this, and the sound is not. So it all in the mix, and all of that rolled into one, right? So, but that's cool. Adapted screenplay went to Women Talking. That's the only thing that they walked away with. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
That's the only thing they were pretty much nominated for.
They were nominated for Best Picture as well, I think.
Oh yeah.
Best Original Screenplay, which I also knew and picked. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once was gonna. They won that. Visual effects, I knew it was gonna go to Avatar because it's Avatar. It's it's beautiful.
I'm still mad about that one too, because the Avatar is nothing but a damn cartoon. I'm sorry.
But I mean, it's still visual effects.
Yeah, visually, it's out there because I mean.
Yeah, I guess.
Visual effects. So I mean, it's gonna win. And over the people. Okay, all Quiet on the Water on the Western Front, Batman, Black Panther, and Top Gun. Okay, I mean, Top Gun had visual effects, but how much? I'm not saying not how much. I mean, a lot of that stuff was real. So it was just, a lot of that stuff was real stunt work and practical and stuff like that. The Batman, it was what it was. It wasn't, to me, I mean, the visual effects. I mean,
listen, Wakanda Forever. They were in Wakanda Forever. They were in real water, so I guess it don't matter that they were in real water versus fake water. So I guess
right. Right. They actually shot it in water, right, in the real water and stuff. So Avatar, I knew that was gonna win. Best Original Score went to All Quiet on the Western Front. I actually picked that too. Once again, war movies a lot of times they favor when it comes to those things.
Let's say war movies that are done right.
Right.
In particular, European war movies.
Best production design went to All Quiet on. Once again, I had picked that. I had got a lot of them right on my ballot because I was like, once again, a war movie, a period piece, and things like that. They love that type of stuff. Okay, what else we got? Let's jump down to
and again.
Ruthie
that right
Carter.
at that point. Oh yeah, go ahead.
She made history. Being one of, I think she is the first Black woman to win multiple Oscars in this category. Maybe multiple Oscars, period. In the same category. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. We knew Ruthie Carter was taking that home. She's a masterpiece. She's so masterful. And if you haven't watched it, Watch that behind the scenes version that's on Disney Plus about Wakanda Forever. They go into all of the costumes on it. They show all of the costumes that Ruth E. Carter made. Oh my God, it's just ridiculous. There's a piece with Angela Bassett walking through the wardrobe area, and she's like, "Look at all of this stuff that this woman made," and she's not just making stuff for you to like garments. She's making trinkets and jewelry and this. So all of that is
All of
part
that
of
stuff.
costume. That's all part of costume. It's not really wardrobe. Wardrobe falls under costume design. That's all everything in one.
But that's what wardrobe is. Wardrobe is costume design. It's everything.
It falls
all
under
in one.
it. Yeah.
And the thing, and this is the thing that kind of made me a little bit. This is why I didn't agree with Avatar to a degree, is because her stuff didn't just stop with the wardrobe and the jewelry and stuff that she designed. Everything that she designed fell back. Everything coincided together, and it fell back into set design. And I'm like,
it fell into the set design, but I mean, Avatar won for visual effects.
But that's what I'm talking about. When it came to it still should have been. I don't know. They need to. Now I'm thinking about it. Did there used to be an Oscar for set design?
It might.
I think so.
Might have been, yeah. I think that production design it falls under.
Oh,
that's still in there. Production design.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that falls under production design. Now, set design, set dressing, all that stuff falls under production design. So then let's jump to best hair and makeup. Went to The Whale. Okay, I could go with that. Yeah, that was good. Because I guess makeup is also special effects. Makeup falls under that.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So that's why it went to the Whale. Cinematography went to Cinematography went to All Quiet on the Water on the Western Front. Once again, war movie done properly. The cinematography is probably going to be good. Although that cinematography looked pretty tight in Elvis, actually, the way they were.
Let me tell you
there was
something.
a lot of moving, shots.
Yeah,
a lot of moving shots in it, but it was tight.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm going to, because I wasn't feeling well this weekend, so I stayed home. During the week, I'm going to be catching up on all the March movies that opened up, because I still haven't seen Cocaine Bear and all the other movies that came out this week.
That skit was hilarious, by the way. That skit was hilarious when she almost bust her ass coming out, but thank God she didn't.
And I like the way she blamed it on the bear.
Yeah, she's like, he tripped me. He didn't trip her. She tripped on her own long dress. Yeah,
exactly.
But she had the dude in the pantsuit. She's like, if it wasn't for visual effects, Cocaine Bear would look like this.
That bear didn't look bad.
Yeah, she said it would have been a man in a bear suit. That would have been Cocaine Bear, the movie. And
I like. You know what I like too? I like the way people come like that. That one. I like the way that tight butt people. They expose tight butt people. Like that lady who got the Nobel Peace Prize. I forget her name. And the bear, and Jimmy Kimmel was trying to joke with her, but she was like, "I choose peace." It's like, come on, man, relax.
Yeah,
we're at the Oscars, and then the bear comes and starts messing with her, and she's like, and you can see it in her face. She's like, "Please get this thing away from me. I don't want to. I'm trying to keep up the image."
Trying not to flip, yeah. Yeah. So as we know, Jamie Lee Curtis won Best Supporting Actress, and like I said, I normally wouldn't. Based on what we talked about and what we kind of conclude that is probably why she won. I can see it happen, but performance against performance wasn't even close. And to be honest with you, I don't think she outperformed anyone in this category. She didn't. The Asian woman from The Whale, Hell no, she didn't outperform her. Nope.
But
The
they
girl, like
gave.
we said, Stephanie, from the Asian girl from the same movie, she didn't even outperform her. You
Yeah,
know,
here's
so
but see Jamie. But this is what I love
we
about Jamie
already
Lee Curtis.
covered why Jamie won. We know why
Right.
she won.
But
It's
here's
no
the thing.
taking
What
away from her, but
no. But here's the thing that I love about
Nepo
Jamie.
baby.
Yeah. But this is what I love about Jamie. Jamie got on stage and she said, "This is the Oscar for us horror fans." She broke it down who that Oscar. She understood the moment.
Yeah, of
She
course.
understood even
Of course
against
she understood.
looking up on that
She
screen. Looking up on that screen, I know she was saying to herself like, "If I win against all of these women, especially Auntie, and I ain't sitting too far away from Auntie and her husband,
yeah,
who might just jump up and, as you know, homeboy's a little violent himself. He don't play when it comes to Angela. She's probably sitting there like, she's probably sitting there like, oh Jesus Lord, please let Angela win.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, just glad we brought that up. Yeah, Angela Bassett, this is the first time that I visually saw in her face she was disappointed. She usually has a poker face, you know what I mean? Like she usually is good at with her poker face. Like even if she's disappointed, she don't show it. She don't normally wear her emotions on her face when it comes to these competitions and these award shows, stuff like that.
But
I have to
it's
say
because
she was genuinely disappointed.
She was disappointed because she knew this was a lot. She
Yeah.
knew, like all of us knew. Like Auntie got
She was
this.
genuinely disappointed, and I was. We said it that last show we was on when we covered the SAG Awards. I was like, oh no, I fear now that Auntie may not win the Oscar because Jamie won the SAG, and she, and I was like, I was surprised that Jamie won that, so I was just like, oh man, yeah, so. Man, and I love what Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors did when they came out. They kind of gave it that little shout out of, encouragement.
Hey, Auntie.
Hey, Auntie, we love you. Everyone knows what that meant. Every single person knows it. At least every single black person know what that meant. I don't know if white people knew what that meant, but
no, they didn't get it.
They weren't paying attention.
They were talking like, who the hell is Auntie?
Yeah, no.
Oh,
what are you talking about?
We don't know what they're talking
about. Who's Auntie? That's her. I didn't know Angela Bassett was their aunt.
That might, to be honest with you, that might have thrown off their whole little skit because it probably had people thinking like, who the fuck is Auntie? What are they talking about?
Yeah. So, but with all of that being said, everything, everywhere, all at once was great film. I'm glad it had the success that it had. I love Michelle Yeoh. I've loved her for years. I'm glad that she had an opportunity to do a film like this and get in this space. And she is, I remember I watched an interview with her. She is taking on more dramatic roles, and not saying she's stepping away from the action, but she was like, in her own words, she was like, I mean, hey, I ain't getting no younger. I'm not gonna be doing action forever. You know what I mean? So, but I loved, this movie was so unique, such a unique script, such unique. It was perfectly crafted for the people in there. And he who quote, a young boy, he did his thing. I was happy for him. The greatest moment of that was when he ran on stage and hugged Harrison Ford. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That melted
that
my
was
heart.
awesome.
That melted my heart.
He hugged him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Harrison Ford gave out the award
y'all call him
for
Dr. Jones. I would have lost it.
Yeah.
Wait, I didn't see him run up on stage and hug him. I probably fast forwarded past that part.
Well, that was the last award of the night. That was
because I was 45 minutes behind, so I was fast forwarding ahead to parts. So I probably didn't see him stand up. I saw him clapping for Harrison Ford, but I didn't see him run up on stage. Man, that would have messed me up. I was already messed up for the night.
He
That
said
really
that
would
to
have
mess
messed me
him
up.
up. That's from obviously Indiana Jones, but
Well,
someone on
I
Twitter
recorded it.
posted
Really?
this is where he
Yeah.
ran on stage and he got the hug right there. He hugged him. That was awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
that was so awesome.
It really was.
This dude makes you like when you watch him from all of the wins he's gotten up until this point, he's so genuinely excited and grateful because this is a man who basically gave up for a while and
Long time.
almost gave up on his career altogether. So
But
for,
here's what you have to understand. The reason why he's so grateful is because, and I just want to piggyback on what you're saying. The reason why he's so grateful is because when you grind and you grind and you grind,
yeah.
and nothing comes of it, and you're just to the point to where like, and especially if it's what you depend on. Now, granted, he must have did something good with his money, with the little bit of money that he got, to keep himself afloat. For him to be almost 20, 30 years, he hasn't been in anything since Goonies.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, he's been in stuff. I mean, he was, from what I said, he was doing stunt work.
Oh, really?
So he was keeping himself busy.
Yeah, he was keeping himself, but he was working. But
he was doing was
just as an actor, he was still working in the business. And Life of Kenya also says, I guess she's going back to when we was talking about Angela. She said, I really hope she's able to win one at some point. I feel like she should have at least had one by now. Well, yeah, we all feel that way. And she feels that way. That's why she had the look that she had. Like, as we know, Angela Bassett has never showed her hand like that in any opportunity that she's lost. She was genuinely disappointed and hurt by that one. So I definitely, but I do feel that some people, like most people, probably feel Angela Bassett is going to be back here because she's just that good of an actor. It doesn't justify it. I'm just saying. I know that's what people had to be thinking.
I say we all get together, make her an Oscar, and ship it to her, and tell her fuck what the Academy thinks. Or as a matter of fact, send me to the Academy. I'll go and steal one. I still got it in me. You are what you are, and you know what I'm saying.
Guess what? As thoughtful as that is, if she didn't win it, she probably wouldn't want it. So, but
no, I think she would accept it. If a gang,
I know I
listen, if a gang, you wouldn't. If a gang of your fans, said, listen,
accept it.
We don't care what the Academy says.
If you're just giving me an award because from my fans, then that's different. But I wouldn't accept an Oscar
from the fans,
stolen or otherwise, from the fans. I'm not accepting anything that I didn't win. That's just that. And it's one of those situations where she got caught up in that, messed up, man. It's just really interesting. Before we end the show, there was a little scare with Michelle Yeoh over the weekend, throughout the week. There was a possibility that she could have forfeited her nomination.
What?
Because she retweeted something about another fellow nominee. Is a part of the rules is you are not to engage in anything that is disparaging against your fellow nominee. That's part of the rules. So you are not to, if someone puts it out there and says, Michelle Williams is a crappy actress, what you call it, Michelle Yeoh should win this easily. Michelle Williams is a crappy actress. And Michelle, that's not what she retweeted. But I'm just saying, and she retweets that, she could be in violation of the rules of of good sportsmanship, in this competition. You're not supposed to be taking you're not supposed to be acknowledging or taking part of any kind of, that could be considered campaigning against your because it's not that type of competition. You're not supposed to be campaigning against anybody. So so she retweeted something that was an article that was written about why she should win um best actress, but it did mention, I think it might actually mention Michelle Williams or someone else or whatever. So they had to look at that, and there was a possibility that she could have been in violation, but because she deleted the tweet, so she knew she was wrong. You know what I'm saying? So she retweeted it.
No, because somebody probably told her.
Well,
she
someone
was wrong.
told her to. Yeah, someone informed her. Yeah, you better delete that because So I think because she deleted it so fast, but nothing gets past these Twitter people. So of course it was screenshotted by people, but the fact that she probably deleted it is really might have really helped her case, because otherwise, if it's something that, even if it's an article that's basically saying Michelle Yeoh is a better actor than Michelle Williams and she should win the Oscar, I'm just using that as an example. You can't take part in that. Anyone can write their own opinion about you, and you can like what they said, but if you're in a competition and it hasn't been decided yet in the Oscars and the Academy, you are not to acknowledge or take part in that. So retweeting it would be kind of considering co-signing that. So you're basically co-signing that. So that was interesting. I was like, oh wow, I hope that doesn't. I hope that doesn't hurt her, you know. And when I saw it, when I read the headline, I knew exactly, because I've heard that before. I've heard that rule before, and that's what it is. You can't, and if you apply the rule and look at it, that's why you see no one ever, and that's the reason once again why that other woman possibly wouldn't have been considered. Remember, they were thinking about disqualifying her. That what's her name? Emily something. That chick. She was. They were thinking about disqualifying her. Because people were campaigning for her. People were campaigning for her to get the Best Actress nomination. And, because she didn't take part in it, that's probably why they allowed her to stay.
Yeah, because you can't be responsible for what other people, if other people.
As long as you're not part of it. As long as you're not part of it. Yeah. As long as there's no proof of you being part of that. You know what I'm saying? And maybe behind the scenes she could have been and should have been and would have been. But long as there's no proof that she was part of it, then she can't. But yeah, they were thinking about disqualifying her as well. Because they was like, you got all these people, they looked at it like, oh, is this such a coincidence? All these different people that that are campaigning for her to win. I mean, to get in this thing. Her name is Andrea Riseborough. Yeah, so that's where yeah, man, you got to be careful with stuff like that. See, this is how, once again, remember, all of this stuff was set in place before the invention of social media. So it's like social media can get you messed up, man, because yeah, someone. Hey, yeah, I would love. I would probably retweet. I would definitely, not probably. I would definitely, under different circumstances, retweet an article that's talking good about me. If someone said, Wes Clark, even though he's new, he's a great director. He should beat out Steven Spielberg. You know what I'm saying? Hell yeah, I want to retweet that. But not if I want to win an Oscar. I don't want to retweet that, because if I do, it's me co-signing someone saying that I'm better than the other person. And it could be influential. It's like influencing people to vote for me because this person who is a writer or whatever. So that's what that is. That was just an interesting nugget I wanted to bring up that fortunately didn't come back to bite her. So, But I guarantee you she'll learn from this, and that will never happen again. You watch it. Next time she's in some sort of run, and she just gonna be like, I ain't saying nothing. I ain't saying nothing. So that's cool. But anyhow, who else said this? We'll go to the chat room before we leave. She said that really surprised me. Oh, probably the win. She said yes, Angela Bassett did win an Oscar. Oh, that was Joseph. Angela Bassett did win an Oscar. Damn it, that's what he said. She should have won that one. What's this? Hope she wins another one. Oh, she hopes she wins one. Yeah. So there you go, man. Shout out to the chat room. Life with Kenya. We appreciate you coming through, holding it down, hanging out with us. Also, there was another Joe that was in the room. We appreciate him. Joseph Tanner, we always appreciate you coming through with your comments. And make sure you guys like, subscribe to the channel if you have not. We do the show every Monday at 9 p.m. live. You can always watch the show later on the YouTube channel, the IE Network. Like I said, subscribe to the channel. You'll get, then you'll see when we put shows up. Like and share it with your friends. Yeah, man. So there we go. I did going out the door. I'm gonna let you know. Obviously, we check out Groupie, the Blueprint of a Self-Made Millionaire, is on Tubi currently right now. You can go and watch that on Tubi. Also, Playing Dirty is another project of mine that is on Tubi at the moment. And just recently, as of this Friday, just passed, I played the trailer, The Candy Shop, a feature film, also from the mind of Kiki Swinson, also directed by myself, and that is available now on Tubi as well. So people go out, check it out, support, and yeah, man, come back next week as we talk more and more stuff of movie things. I'm gonna start bringing some of these filmmakers up too. And there we have it, man. Y'all have a good night. Peace out.